What are you running from? Can you feel it? Like we've lost all our direction, all our fears are resurrected. What are you running from? Are we sinking? If this love can't last forever, are we waiting for an ending? Pretending, are you broken down, hopeless lying on the ground? Are you lost right now? Everything you had is gone. When the credits roll, everyone is headed home. Are you alone? God save my synthetic soul, leave my flesh and blood behind. Lost myself down the rabbit hole, now there's nothing left to find. Baptize me in chemicals, dopamine and cyanide. Watch me decompose in the artificial light. I stare into reflections that look like something I once knew. In essence, it's all for nothing. God save my synthetic soul, only ash and dust remain.
Such a pain in the ass.
Where I'll go, only heaven knows, but I'll feel it just the same. Buried in the afterglow, move on, forget my name. Watch me decompose in an unforgiving way. I stare into
And yeah, so it kind of snowballed from there.
Right on.
But I owe it all to Tyler for giving me that invite. So
I gotta be real, man. Tyler has he has a use or two, and that is it. Like that man is really solid about bringing people together and shit. He was the one who originally brought me over to Grid as well, and I don't remember even how I fucking met him, but yeah, he invites people and it's useful. You know what I mean? Like that alone is a thing. So.
And I may say that I'm glad we've said some nice things about Tyler, but now I have to interject with the negative part about Tyler, which would be anywhere between his whole personality and everything that comes out of his mouth.
somewhere between those two things. I see.
Yeah,
I see.
Somewhere between that. Somewhere between that, there's a good person. But so far, I'm just really looking deep to find it.
Are you guys mainly like left wing or like what's your kind of stance on stuff?
So it depends on who you're talking to specifically.
Yeah.
I'm considered a centrist. I don't fit into any boxes. I'm pro-choice and I'm pro-gun. Fucking huzzah. So
kill the babies with the guns is what you're saying.
You got it. That's right. Or ours make it easier. No. No. The truth is, it's more like you said. I'm a reasonable person, and so like I try not to take anything too far. I try not to be too hard on anything. I try not to be too, you know what I mean? Like I try to be as reasonable as I can on all subject matter, and I do my best to be as honest intellectually, which is to say, if I say something and somebody's like, well, but no, I'm gonna not just unless I'm in a debate, I'm not just gonna dig in like a tick and fucking, you know what I mean? I'm gonna acknowledge if I'm wrong about something, which is a rare commodity these days. So
Yeah.
But no, I would not say that. And welcome in, Mr. Tyler. Speak of the devil. We were literally
Welcome,
just
Tyler.
invoking your name.
Do I have time to quickly go pee?
Yeah, do it. Yeah, like I said,
Okay.
people are actually trickling in on time. I'm kind of impressed. So
Like who's he going against? Whoever's
Who's
going
who
against me, bro. Hey, I'm gonna be real with you. man, I have
Indian-
not read a single thing this
are
week.
you fucking serious, man? You didn't prep for this at all?
I've tried, bro, but there was this event that took place this week that I think I may
If
have
you would have
mentioned.
said this chick, then I would have forgiven you.
It was this event that took place this week where I was in a bed with an IV in my arm for 2 or 3 days.
I understand, and I mean we've all got excuses, man.
Why are you bantering instead of meeting us all and cramming right now?
Yeah, right. Why? Yeah, exact true story.
Don't
Because
flex,
the dude,
don't
this
flex
is
your
my
lack
prep.
of preparation
Because this is
to
my
like
preparation for
apologize
the
for your
debate.
performance before it ever happens. Just like slap
Whoa,
some shit
whoa,
together. real quick.
whoa. I would
Yeah.
like to correct you. 90% of the debates I've done so far were without preparation. My
We know.
Your results show
always
most of the time.
Well, the results were me winning, so what's your point?
Okay, I guess it's a good debate then.
he's a debate lord.
You
actually.
didn't get carried by your team ever, I'm sure.
Debate
I
lord.
haven't. The only one I've ever lost, I was on the team. So
I mean, I wouldn't throw down a gauntlet like that to both of the judges in the room. Just saying.
No, Lonzo is like
Nah.
a Vosh here, don't have to prepare a debater. I get it.
no, I'm not
Yeah.
saying I'm good at this. I'm just saying that your point about the facts have shown that apparently I've done better without a team and without prepping.
Well, when we get you out of kindergarten debates, it might be a little tougher.
Yeah, that's true. And common fucking
Shots
Game Boy has been
fired.
something out so far.
Okay, so I don't understand. Why is my camera not working? Oh wait, I know why. I bet you I fucked it up. Hang on.
Tyler, how have you been?
The Fista
what the
comments
heck?
has begun early.
Already.
Well, let's see. Come on now.
Come on,
Working
dude.
on some long-term content. I actually want to get at your confidence about something, that Elden Ring thing we were talking about.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That does need to happen.
A 2-hour debate on Elden Ring lore. Which ending is the best ending?
That
be
is
so
the
good.
most. Actually, no. I think that is the second most boring game I've ever played.
What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about,
Just imagine
brother?
all of the dodges a debate about it would have.
The story's
Just
so
rolling and dodging the
abstract
whole
that,
time.
Like, the story's subtle and abstract, and if you don't spend the time to look into it, you don't really even fucking see it. And if you're a story-driven person, absolutely it'll be boring.
He's saying you're uncultured.
I'm not talking.
Horse.
No,
That
no,
is what
no.
I heard. That's exactly what I heard.
I just love the idea that the story
you
is
have to go the
subtle,
extra mile for the story, and if you don't do that, I can understand why you feel that way.
but
Takes a
it's
certain
not
level
subtle.
of perspicacity.
okay.
That's what I would say.
Nothing about that story
trying
is
to find a
subtle,
place to
dog.
put
It's the first minute is like the guy moaning into the mic, going, "Rise,
don't like
rise!
it.
There was darkness in the land." This is like,
Yeah, but what is that? What do they mean by darkness? What do they mean by land? You know, all these questions.
Is it metaphor? Is it real? It's both.
Right, exactly. Keeps you guessing.
I couldn't tell who the good guys and the bad guys were at the start of Elden Ring.
That's the whole point. I can't tell at the ending. Hence the debate that we're gonna have. It's hard to say.
Chaos Flame is the good guy.
See, and that's
The rest
crazy
are
to me.
not. All
I'll
of the
I'll
rest
save
are
it for the
not.
debate, but that's crazy.
He'll be like, Sky.
Real
Okay.
quick, Let's Chief, can you give me any suggestions or ideas as to why my fucking thing won't work? I'm trying. I've got everything. Stop virtual
Viagra?
camera. Let me try. Ah, my other thing. No,
What thing?
stop. I've got my virtual camera going, and it's not streaming it for some reason. Turn off camera. I'm checking my. I'm video checking
Wait.
everything one more time.
On
Virtual
OBS,
cam.
you mean?
Yeah. No.
Or in
Into
Discord.
Discord.
I actually
Yeah,
don't know.
Because I just saw you a moment ago before you changed
Yeah,
it.
your camera was working.
Yeah. Your camera was on
Like
while you
literally
talked.
like 10 seconds. Yeah, like I see you
Yeah,
now.
you're
You
on
were
now.
asking the question.
Oh, you can see me. I just don't see myself. Okay.
Yeah.
You were literally asking. the
Oh,
question.
you gotta probably right click on
Show my
yourself and
own
hit
fucking
preview.
camera.
Yeah.
Bro.
That's
Okay.
the
Swear
one.
to God. I really am a boomer sometimes. There we go. All right, cool. Fucking let's go. Oh, much better. So we are waiting on 2 people. I'm still going to go ahead and click that go live button there. Real quick, is anybody else going to be streaming in Twitch? And if so, are we down to do the stream together touch and tips?
Yep. I'm streaming.
Maybe just
Circa?
maybe the part.
Lonzo,
Yeah, I'm-
you gonna?
Yeah, I myself, yeah. You know,
All right, I'm gonna send out.
Do you want me to go to a certain category again, or?
No. Doesn't matter. Wherever you want to. I'm under podcast, so do what you want. Politics is open.
bro, I've been playing Dark and Darker whenever I'm not. Well,
Yeah.
I
What
try
are you
to.
digging it?
Is it called? It's
Yeah,
called
it's
the
fun.
Hotbox, right?
Yeah.
That one title. I
Um,
couldn't remember the name for some reason.
yes.
'Cause I'm fucking retarded, I think.
Okay, I'm looking for you, Lonzo. You're not live yet. That's okay. And Circa.
Screwed it.
There you are. Boom. And actually, I think I can send out that Lonzo one as well. Yeah, for what it's worth, Indian Jesus said that he is also still trying to do some last-minute prep. I give people all the time that I can, but this one was kind of a difficult one. So
Yeah, I wrote my opening like literally an hour ago, so
Let me tell you something. I
I'm
wouldn't.
about to see my pants right now.
There's no amount of prep you could have gave me for this. I haven't been able to do anything since Monday. It's been rough.
yeah, no, I hear you, man, and I definitely am glad you were able to make it. So there's actually a possibility we might get one more debate. Like
Well, all right.
again, I make the joke all the time, and I wish it was a fucking joke, but like herding cats, streamers are not easy to get to fucking collaborate, and so that's why I try to do all of this shit in advance, like I do, right? Like I know the other stream that we all or several of us met on is notorious for the impromptu, like let's figure it out on the fly thing, but we've all seen that like doesn't usually go very well. So I try to do all that shit behind the scenes before we get here, and then I just have to struggle with, well, did they receive it? But that said, there's actually one more duo that may or may not show up.
Who is it,
iCal
or is it a
Rich.
surprise?
Well, iCal Rich and actually Game Boy. So Game Boy is a regular here, and he
Won't
was
zoom
pretty
anymore.
stoked about this particular. He was pretty stoked about this prompt, and then like I said, iCal never actually responded. So I don't know.
Tyler, that's the guy you always fight with, right, in your server?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Exciting.
And apparently, Game Boy even tried to reach out to him directly to see if he could get a confirmation from him, and he couldn't get it. So, if he shows, he shows. If he don't, he don't. It is what it is.
I can make
I
it
don't.
kinda
I
like,
don't cry over the spilt milk. So,
Nah, I can't do
For those of you, actually, I guess it's just you, Confluence. I did mention this, I think, already, or maybe I don't remember if it was you or if it was
Do it like this.
Jesus that I was talking to. But the way we generally do this is people sort of trickle in as fast as possible. Doomer, can you? I haven't adjusted you. Can you give me a voice check real quick, just so I can make sure that you sound all right on this? Yep, cool. You sound great. So the way we usually do this is as people sort of trickle in, we highs and hellos and all the dick grabbing and all that stuff, and then once we actually start, it usually takes about 30 minutes. Hey, welcome in Squid, welcome in Rook. Usually takes about 30 minutes per debate. Jesus has entered the building. Very cool. As you guys notice, I put a different thing at the beginning of your name to represent whether you're AF or neg. That puts you either on the top or on the bottom row, and then the judges and myself are in the middle row. We go through them pretty quick once we get started, and then afterwards, we open it up to anybody that's either vetted or vouched. That's to say, like, if one of you guys is like, hey, this is a buddy of mine, can he come in? Absolutely, because
Do you have the
on
link
your
for that
word.
clap thing or whatever? Like testing?
It should have been sent to you if you look in your your little notifications in Twitch. If you go to your dashboard, Twitch dashboard, you should find the link there. Anyway, afterwards, we open it up to anybody who's vetted or vouched, and they can kind of come in and say anything that they think didn't get said during the debate, or kind of keep picking at the prompts or whatever they think, yada yada yada. But also we can just we sit around and bullshit and fucking smoke and drink and fucking have a good time for the last 2 hours. None of that is necessary. You guys don't have to stick around for it. Sometimes it gets pretty messy in here during that period. Although starting earlier like this, if people are spelt drunk at 10 o'clock p.m. on a fucking Saturday, I guess. But yeah, we've had some fun times. But yeah, looks like we are just waiting for Lethe to get here. I think everybody knows Lethe, right? Doomer, are you back yet? Check, Doomer.
I think I've been the most consistent, right? I think I've been in all of them. Almost all
Damn
of them.
near. Yeah.
How often do you do
you
hear me?
this, Forest Radish?
There you are. I
like a
do
weekly
this on
thing?
the. So eventually, it's probably going to become a weekly thing, or I'd like it to become a weekly thing, but because of how much prep and try to track people down and nail people on shit I have to do, it's tricky. So I do it the first, third, and fifth Saturdays of the month. Is currently the schedule. So, and basically like tomorrow after tonight, first thing tomorrow morning, or actually this weekend, probably won't get until Monday, I send out a list of like 5 or 6 prompts, as you guys saw. I send them out to anybody directly. I don't like putting them into, like, I put it in Tyler's channel, and I appreciate you, by the way, Tyler, for letting me do that, buddy. But I prefer to do it in private, so that way you guys don't get to see who stands where. I do 3v3 debates and 1v1 debates. The first Saturday is 1v1s, third Saturday is 3v3. And the 3v3s are kind of fun. First of all, I don't see anybody else do them. Second of all, it gives less skilled debaters the ability to kind of work with more skilled debaters in prep and delivery. And also, it's cool because I can make strange bedfellows. Like, for instance, I've been really hard trying to cook up an authoritarian debate, because the people that I see, I've got MAGA folks and I've got anarchists who are equally authoritarian, right? I've got commies and I've got MAGAs who are going to stay on the same team. Yeah, go ahead.
I've been trying to be on this authoritarian debate for a minute now.
I know.
And I swear and I'm like, I don't know who else is also saying the same thing I'm saying when it comes to this, but I doubt there's many.
So the honest truth, the reason that one kind of got hung up was because one of our regulars specifically asked for a 1v1 debate on that prompt against somebody who's never debated here before. I knew him from the Bosses stream back in the day. So I kind of like took it off the group prompt for a minute, but then they keep not actually following through. So fuck it. I'm putting it back onto the group prompts. But anyway, so basically the way I do it is I go through and I have a shit long spreadsheet of all of the prompts and all of the people's positions. I then look for the most interesting and the most well balanced of those prompts, so that I can kind of schedule it from there. and then I let them know individually and make sure that they're okay with that prompt and that competitor. And then once I've got the confirmations and everything, that's when I send out the finalized, this is what's going to be on the schedule. So that's kind of how it works. I know it's a long-winded and kind of complicated, but it never fails. I will have a couple of super fucking cool ones that I'm really psyched about that fall through. For instance, this week, Circa, down there in the bottom right, one of the prompts that you guys, who is it? Let me look. We still have it on tonight. Lonzo and Indian Jesus's debate, actually. The value is determined by demand, not labor. So I had two people. One said, yes, but both. The other said no, because neither. And I'm like, holy fuck, that's great. Like, I would love to see a neither versus both. That's dope, right? And then the other person, not Circa, flaked out. Like, and when I mean like flaked out, I mean like flaked out hard. Like, after I sent him the offer, before I even could send the offer, he like unfriended, left the server. Like, I don't understand why. So, whatever. People are just weird. So, yeah. But like I said, you could just say no, bro. Like, I don't get it, but whatever. Anyways, so yeah. So again, like I said, we're pretty chill here. The debates are as good faith or bad faith as you want to make them. It's your choice. We err towards good faith just because we prefer it that way. As you guys saw from the structure, I sent both of you guys a format structure. You can also see above my head here in the thingy that actually I should probably make it so you can see it a little better. There you go. The timer so that you guys don't have to like guess where you're at in your time and such. We go 3-minute AF open. You don't have to use the whole thing. We go 2-minute cross from neg. And again, this is your chance to either point out stupid ass shit they said in their opening or set up traps for your own opening. That's the way we kind of envision it. But we've had some people who just use that because they don't have enough time in their 3 minutes to do their opening. We've had some people who just didn't understand what a fucking cross-examination was, so they just like looked at me. So what you do with that time is up to you. It's your time. But just know that the judges do tend to judge based on how you control your cross-examination. Then it goes back to neg. Neg does their open, then goes back to AF for their cross. Then we have a 10-minute open period of conversation. I, as the moderator, will add 5 minutes to it if I feel like it's productive or if the judges agree, like if the judges are like, let this cook. But usually I just kind of make the decision myself. After that, we go to the closes. Now, during that, and I'm talking to you guys, audience, as well. The other cool thing about that is the judges during the open conversation can send me questions to the debaters that they feel should have been engaged with or that they want to hear for their own. Like put this to them and see how they react. So if they do that, then I'm going to give you that as well. You're going to do your close, and then at the beginning of each debate, we have 2 judges, and we also have a straw poll. Everybody out there in the chat, and this is the other benefit of the shared chat, is everybody out there in chat. And for those of you who are streaming in YouTube, if you want to just copy paste it or something, I can, you know what? I'll put it into the Discord chat so that you can copy paste from there. Or no, I sent you guys the links.
Perfect.
You guys already have the links. So you guys can put that in your chat, and we do that in advance of the debate, and then we do it after the debate. And the whole point there is so that we can see which side swayed the most, right? It's not just a popularity contest. It's who was the most rhetorically persuasive. And then those are the 3 votes, 2 judges and the audience sway. So that was a lot of talking. Do you have any other questions?
Man,
It's less scary than he made it sound.
Is it?
That is true. Well, yeah, and maybe it's not. I don't know.
I don't
Maybe
remember.
Maybe it's more
honestly.
scary.
I just usually,
You just black out.
Yeah, really. It just turns into like a debate. I say things, I don't know what they mean, and then the debate ends, and they're like, "You won." I'm like,
Sounds good.
I did it.
Sounds good. I did it. All right. So, is everybody in the shared? They are. We are still waiting for Lethe. He should be here any minute now. The one that you just dropped in there, Circa. Is it Circa, Circar? Which do you go by?
Your mic's muted, buddy.
Good answer, Circa.
I thought you were saying Zerka when he was off cam,
I
and I was like,
find my
"Holy
Discord
shit!"
window. Couldn't find-
Yeah, that kind of sounds like a frilly cocktail, doesn't it? So is it Circa or Circar?
Circa is what it is, but that account is really old and I
Perfect.
can't access anymore. So yeah.
Derek, I have a question for
Gotcha.
you. Are you in any way connected to the Chinese Communist Party? I just find it suspicious that you're able to not only not work but be here conversating 24/7 in that chat about different things, and I just find that that's weird because the only other person who I've known to do that seemed to have been a Russian asset. So can we get an explanation on
So
that one?
can nice.
I won't use
Can I
that
can I
term.
can I offer an explanation, because if you extrapolate and you do a little deductive reasoning from the things that he has said, he has already mentioned the fact that he had a fairly successful business fairly early. So I'm guessing that he
I don't
probably had a
anymore.
pretty decent nest egg. He
No.
said he doesn't anymore,
No.
but he
No.
also probably works from home or does something remote. Is that correct, Sirka?
No, none of that's correct.
No.
You have
Okay.
that-
Yes.
you have
He's
that
just a
tenant media
CCP.
money.
No,
Is that
my
correct?
business did
Moscow?
well. My business did
That's
well
it. Yeah.
in like 2018, 2019, and then I lost everything. So that's definitely not it.
There's a guitar on the back of that wall there, so
Now he's turning
What?
tricks and slinging yayo.
He's fucking good at playing.
that get. No, I don't understand if he's good at playing or not. I'm just saying he said everything. I'm just trying to make sure that
I can just
Yeah,
type
it shouldn't
faster, I guess, man.
backfire.
I don't tell you.
He built different.
Doomer, did you say you've heard him play?
Yeah, he plays on stream. He's good.
Oh, no shit. Right on. Well,
Thank you.
shit. Then in that case, we'll have to get you hooked up with Grumple and do some of his karaoke nights.
Oh Lord.
Do you sing as well? I'll take that as a no.
No.
Okay, cheers. So it looks like we're still waiting on Lethe. Fuck me, dude. Where you at, bro?
Dude, let's-
There's always
Is
somebody.
there like some backup if like no one, because he's my debate partner?
Yeah, no, he
What am I
will
supposed
be
to
here.
do?
Don't worry. No, he
Okay.
will
You
100% be here.
you automatically win.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Default.
There we go.
When you call
Exactly
her,
right.
That's the best kind of win, is a technical win, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I got one of those over somebody a little while ago.
Oh, I think
That's for you,
based
Confluent.
on-
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck!
The holy hands,
you
yep.
you did get a technical win on me.
Got him.
Tell us more. Tell us more.
I had
And
to
actually,
reset several-
Indian Jesus, would you do us a favor and just tell us a little bit about yourself as well? Confluence already kind of introduced himself, but
Yeah, sure. So this is my co-host Morty, the Overlord, and I am Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, and I do long form reactions, kind of where we'll take like a podcast or a debate, speech, something like that, and try to break it down so that we can be better at talking with people we disagree with, whether it's in a debate format like this or just a regular conversation. That is the goal. I am live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. So come on through. All are welcome, and I love to be challenged. And I don't know anybody who is more engaged with their chat than I am.
Oh well, that's. I'm gonna have to
yeah,
tell you
that's a
what
bold
now.
statement, homie. Are you on
Uh,
Twitch or are you on YouTube?
YouTube, the Indian Jesus official.
Cheers.
So
to
you've
that.
never
Right
you've
on.
never seen a person make a 30-minute video 5 hours long because they spent that entire 5 hours debating one person in their chat over something that did not matter the whole time.
Brother, that's another Tuesday for me. Are you kidding me? I
Right,
get
mhm.
I get one guide so easily. It's not even
Yeah.
funny.
So it's funny. It's funny too because like you'll see occasionally on the share chat, or if you guys don't get the share chat, but I actually had to make a Streamlabs like auto pop that says, "Hey, look, usually I swear to God I talk to you guys, but when I've got guests, I don't want to be that
Yeah.
dick." You know
Yep.
what I mean? So it's like I have to explain to people because when I was doing full-time days, yeah, I would literally sit here for 8 fucking hours just yelling at people in chat, like, and part of it was. And this is one of my favorite things to do to this day is to do Steelman myself. Like I will literally debate myself in chat. Like I will take both sides of a position and tear myself
That's a
apart.
good idea. I am
Thank you.
stealing that.
Use it. Yeah, use it. Go ahead, bro. Another thing that I used to do is 5 minutes for $5. As long as it's TOS, you give me any fucking subject and I will give you a passionate 5 minutes on it. Whether that's why peanut butter and jelly is the single best meal, I've done that one, or why toilet paper is a threat to the environment. I won't do anything that's not TOS, so don't fucking do anything about
5 minutes for
goddamn
$5.
the mustache. But yeah, so like I said, that was my stock and trade other than just arguing with chat. So, but you actually said the sweetest song I've ever heard, which is helping people figure out how to fucking communicate with people you disagree with. Praise the cheeses, because that's what the fuck we should
Name
all
of the
be
game.
doing here. So yes, that's right, and that's also so. After each debate, the judges will give some feedback. Like I said, our two judges, Doomer Patrol Pilot, Doomer Pilled Patriot, that's it, and Let's Chief here, are two of the most solid debaters I've ever seen, and so they often will just give kind of some feedback and just like they're not like dicks about it. They're not criticizing you, and they're not telling you that they wish you wore more makeup or something. They're just going to tell you, hey, maybe if you tried this or if you went at it like this, et cetera, et cetera. But on the same token, it's not like we're condescending about it, so you don't feel like you don't feel like you got to say, bro, I've been doing this for a fucking decade. You know what I mean? So, anyways, good God Almighty, Lethe, he has got to be almost here.
I think he's afraid of me. That's the only thing I can get from that, you know?
Could be. Have you?
He's just nervous. We talked on Grid before, and, you know, maybe I just left such a good impression. He's like, holy shit, that Confluence guy. Can't fuck with him.
Could be.
That name for that 5 minutes for $5 is a crazy name, and I think that that could be improved for sure.
Oh no, it was by design, sir. Oh, my innuendos are not ever accidental. So, now, Circa, is that the first prompt that you're straw polling in there for me, buddy? Circa keeps fucking walking away. Oh, he's gonna show us something. He's gonna show us something. You know what? I'm okay with this. I'm okay with a quick musical interlude. It's the third one. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna start dropping them all in there. Then, thank you for just selling yourself.
I'm a pretty good singer, sir. What you got, bro? I'll sing for you. You do the instrument.
Now that I would look forward to hearing, except for the fact that everybody else is probably going to leave. Boom. And
are still
one more. Boom. So once again, Jesus and Confluence, I'm going to suggest to both of y'all, if you don't mind, drop those straw poll links into your chats as well. If you don't mind doing all three, not, you know, being like Circa and just thinking about yourself, that would be super awesome. Just because it gives everybody the chance to kind of, you know what I mean? And the more numbers we get, the better the percentage matters, et cetera, et cetera. So,
I did someone else's first. What do you mean?
Oh, did you? Okay, I'm sorry. I take back half the mean shit I said. Anyways, so yeah. So you know what? I'm not gonna make everybody fucking wait too much longer. If he's not here by my dude. Oh wait, I thought you were pulling out the fucking the box for us, dude.
Yeah.
You're not gonna tickle the strings? What the shit?
No,
I only pull up my
I wanted my
throwing money.
I wanted the musical interlude that I was
yeah,
promised.
I know.
What
We were stoked. Like we were here for it.
You can't edge us like that, brother.
I was putting the thing back to cover the trust rod. I had to tighten it. Get rid of some relief on it.
I have to try now. My cousin's watching this debate. Oh,
I am actually. Hello, Lonzo's cousin. I am serious though, Circa. I don't know if you've gotten to meet Grumple, nicest fucking asshole there is. He does karaoke nights, and while you may not be a singer, he is always about people who can actually play instruments and shit as well. So perhaps we can duet sometime, buddy. That'd be swell.
Yeah.
Description of
say what?
Greatest description of Grumple I've ever heard. Nice.
It's the truth, though. Yeah. No, it's the truth. I hate the fact of how much I like him. I really want to dislike the dude. I feel like I should be able to dislike that dude, but I can't. He's just too goddamn cool. And one of these days, I'm going to get him onto one of these as well. He is just the hardest cat to herd I have found. So, tangentially related to Grumple. Say what? What was that?
I was just reading what Maida said. It said it looks like a jarhead version of me.
What is? Oh. What the fuck is that?
That's Dota.
Wait, what?
Oh, okay. I was about to say it looks like wannabe League. So I wasn't wrong.
That's exactly what it is.
You know, okay, so I don't know if you You see, yeah, no. Hold on.
My degeneracy is better than
Warcraft
yours.
3 came first, bro. And then somebody decided to make a sub game off of their backs.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, okay, yeah. I know. Again, you see the sparkle. I played the real thing.
That's how DayZ was born too.
Yeah,
but okay, enough. They all look the same, but it's not new.
Lethe said that he is almost home. By the way, he just messaged me.
Good. He did say that 10 minutes ago, but cool, whatever.
Almost as relative,
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Well,
value.
You know what? Yeah.
Speaking of value,
this isn't as bad as the Pocahontas issue. So, because that was the worst. It was almost an hour actually. It was almost an hour that she rolled in late. So, there is no reason for us to have to wait though, because again, we have enough people. Lonzo and Indian Jesus are actually the first two to go, and Lethe can just slide up in here whenever he's ready. So, that said, Lonzo, did you use the last 45 minutes of us fucking jacking our jaws to get some prep done?
Hell no.
Cool. All right, easy W for you, Jesus.
He was too busy making sure both sides of his overalls were buttoned.
Wait, I don't use buttons on my overalls.
Are they inside out? Because no, okay, but backwards. Because inside out is wiggity whack. You're wearing hunting overalls, man.
Like camo overalls.
Where'd he go?
Kind of crazy.
I'm impressed.
I'm nervous, guys. I'm not an opening statement guy. I don't like this stuff.
No, that's okay. It's okay. That you do, like I said, you do not have to feel obligated to use all of your time ever, anything like that. So you just do what you can. And as I said, it's never lost on me that the way we do things is not the way that a lot of people do things. So we do not have too much. Hang on.
Don't
do
feel
not
like
have
you
too
have
much
to
shade.
Soapbox. Just say some shit.
Yeah, just say some shit. Say some shit. That's it. That's how we debate.
Don't ever use AI.
Excuse me.
I never use AI. My brain is all the AI I need.
Who the fuck was it that used AI the other day? Who was it? Somebody did that shit. Who was that?
Probably Casey seems to use AI 24/7. If I'm being honest with you.
Maybe it was Casey. You're right.
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I used ChatGPT to make sure that I got the time zone correct because I always mess up time zones.
I do that too. I'm so bad with time zones.
I had Peter Boghossian on for it was like 3 p.m. and I like woke up early and it's like, oh, this isn't for another 6 hours, dude. What?
You talked to Boghossian?
Hell yeah.
Oh, that's incredible. Good job.
Every time I cover anything with him or he's around or anything, I accept you as the one true Indian Jesus. Makes me smile every time.
Wow.
Wait. Who?
Dr. Peter Boghossian. He was one of the people that worked with James Lindsay before he got woke to put in all those like woke academic papers that were complete BS and they still got passed and everything.
Is that really the whole story, my friend?
Whoa.
I think you're missing a few details there.
Academic papers. That sounds like we're already falling into the trash can.
No, he was actually a tenured professor and he took advantage of that. And
yeah, he showed how
articles
how
on
BS,
journals
he
that
wrote BS papers.
I know, and they trusted him, and then once they went back to go look at them, they realized they were fucking not good. But that's why he can't do it.
Saying that they got published. I think that's.
What did you say his first name was?
They've been retracted. So.
Peter.
So I thought you were talking about Eric Boghossian. I'm a theater kid, and he's kind of like a god amongst men for theater kids. So I thought that you knew the Eric Boghossian, and I was about to fucking.
He also published in a field that doesn't really have a lot of people to do peer review, but once it got around to it, it was obvious it was fake.
You said it was about what now?
He had a bunch of different articles that were posted in journals that are like gender studies ones. Not many people that actually
gender studies. You said that's right about.
It'd be like gender studies with like dogs, and if like the dogs understand the
so
gender
you
dynamics,
understand why there's only 5 people. There's There's only like
and they
5
did that on
people.
purpose to prove how broken the peer review system was.
It's not because
exactly
it was fixed very quickly.
And his
in this case.
the thing most people know him for is his street epistemology thing, where he'll go and everybody stands on neutral, and he'll give a prompt, and then everybody could do slightly agree to disagree, agree to disagree, strongly agree to disagree, and then talk about that. I don't know if you've seen any of those.
It did work
for whatever reason.
All
Destiny
of those
loves to do
articles
those,
were
so he's
taken
done a
down.
bunch of those.
All of them.
Gotcha.
So.
Well, yeah, after Peter revealed it, they were taken down. I just want to say that.
No, after finally got around to peer reviewing something that's only 5 people would ever fucking peer review. It's like a gender studies.
A lot of them were up until Peter revealed that they were fraudulent.
Again,
articles.
it's not a very. It's not like Nature or something like that. So it takes a while for someone to get to it.
Still bad journal.
He also lost his capability of, doing articles and stuff anymore. He just took advantage of the fact that he could.
What a martyr!
He's not a
One
martyr.
of the team.
I mean, to be fair, it's not like it was taken seriously, right? Have you guys looked at the articles?
No, but if you're able to get something published, that's problematic already. If it's fucking nonsense, right? Like before it doesn't matter about how long it takes. You shouldn't be published if unless someone's gone through your work.
What journal?
Right. Yeah,
exactly.
I've looked at like almost all of them, and they're
So
absurd, and that's what gives
the
me
field,
pause.
the field in which we're looking at, right? Do you remember which one it is?
Is published from that has been peer reviewed versus when it hasn't. Like there's stuff that's like preliminary research that gets published, and it's just like, hey, this hasn't been peer reviewed yet, so it's not super astonishing that some of that stuff gets published. But
it is though. It
It's
is.
a gender studies journal, bro.
Reputable journal.
It's literally on a topic that's 5 people.
Like if it's like, hey, this has an asterisk, it's not peer reviewed. Like
even if it was a bigger journal,
run with that and act like it was like something it's not.
Okay,
no, but if
I think
it's
we
a
can
big
all
journal,
agree.
they should take some due diligence to make
I
sure
think
it
we
makes
can all
sense,
agree
right?
that-
Like a
I mean,
cursory
they did.
reading tells you
They
it doesn't
did. They
make
got
sense.
around to it and got rid of it.
Well, then they shouldn't have allowed it to be published.
Yeah.
I mean, just obviously on its face.
Read first, then publish.
And then they took the
Yeah, read before publishing. What IJ said.
Again, it's like gender studies, bro. There's like 5 people.
Gender studies is a pretty big field.
No, it's
my
not.
chagrin.
I only really just processed what the question actually is, and I think I have a really good argument already. So,
And you do remember you're on the negative side, right?
possibly.
Gnarly.
Did you read some Karl Marx?
Beefy is just stalling for Lonzo to get.
Oh, don't worry, I've read.
He really is. He really is.
I'm dyslexic. So
Hey,
it's not
welcome
really,
in, Nader. Welcome in. Again,
Didn't
Nader,
really
I have
talk
invited in the past. If you are interested in jumping into these in the future, just let me know. And this goes for anybody out there in the chat. Anybody who wants to participate in these in the future, reach out to me through Discord. Let me give you that. And let me know you're interested, and I will send you guys the prompts every time. Oh, fuck. Is my goddamn thing broken, motherfucker?
No, you just missed an eye.
So they were accepted, by the way, right? It's not like they were
bro.
fully reviewed.
Okay, now it is broken.
Maybe we can move on.
So
Then.
fucking janky.
Game Boy said it.
Yeah, actually, now that I know you guys have that there, I didn't know even to think, or it never even occurred to me to use that as a prompt. But shit, we're gonna have to. I might have to build a prompt around the
Gender
peer review
studies
system.
is not a very big field. It was
And so
obviously a
Doomer
growing
asked
field, but
what journal it was that it was published in.
a few different ones. I think 7 of the 20 were rejected right away, and then the other ones were pending. And once an editor got around to viewing them, obviously they were fucking fake. And then he lost.
Okay.
He just took advantage of the fact that he was a tenured professor. Because he's a tenured professor with experience.
Real quick, what's the name of the your YouTube channel?
Oh,
or are you just hosting this?
The _horseradish.
The _horseradish.
No, that's just the symbol _ buddy.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry. Yeah, let's try that again now. Boom, boom, Discord, boom. What the literal fuck? I quit. I quit. I don't even care.
Go show some love.
Yep. I couldn't get people into my Discord for anything because I can't ever remember to refresh the link. So it's always
no, it's
dead link.
Dead link. It's goddamn setup. just
I have one. I did the forever link and I have it there, so I just copy and paste the whole join the Discord thing.
Yeah.
Give a forever. What is it? What?
So when you go
Ublas,
to
what I want to say is that
invite,
when it comes to
we'll walk you through it. It says invite
academia,
people, and then
peer review has a lot of problems.
under the
but
link, it says your
I don't think
link
one of them
expires in
should
7
be
days,
some fucking
edit invite
loser
link. Then you
who
can have
thinks
it
he's
expire
smarter than every
after
fucking
7
person on planet
days,
Earth.
Or never.
Who just took advantage of the fact that
And
he
you can
could
also
produce
have,
studies
a
and
max
have
number
them
of uses.
accepted because
So
of
if you
his
wanna use it
tenure.
for, like,
Because
and then you can generate
obviously it would take a
link.
while for
And then
the
that
people to get
link
around
is
to edit
permanently,
them, or
you know,
be like the editors to view them.
you-
There's
oh,
not that many
forever.
people. It's not like
Hey,
physics
appreciate the
in,
sub, man.
you know, science
That is mighty
fucking
kind.
journals or something like that.
All
right?
right, so
it really
looks
isn't that many
like
people, so
everybody
it took a
is
bit.
here. I'm glad you could finally join
think
us,
it's also
Leafy.
turning on
You know,
space to
man,
be like
I
this
think I
fucking
mentioned to
crusader.
you that it was 2 hours earlier, like 3 times. But that's okay. I still knew at least one person was going to miss that.
I had no idea, was not paying attention. I just ordered food. I looked and I saw the alert. I'm like, wait a minute, why is everybody in the room? Oh no.
Thank you, Lethy. Thank you, Lethy.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
really, I needed it.
You gave him the minutes he needed to be able to take this ass whooping with his feet under him. So that said, everybody out there in chat, let's fucking go. We are there. We've got everybody here. Do you guys see that link right there in chat? Please click that link and make a vote while you still can. We're gonna do this before and after every single debate tonight. Your votes actually do matter. You guys are the third judge, but we're not doing it based on a popularity contest. It's not just who you think's prettier, because I'm pretty sure Jesus is gonna win that one. We're just going to go based on who sways the audience most. So the percentage shift is who actually wins from the audience. Now we do the audience last, so if just like
I'm
in reality,
arguing
your
this.
vote only matters sometimes. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our judges here. We have got Doomer Pilled Patriot in the green screen all the way to the left of me. We've got Let's Chief, the faceless wonder here in the center, and then of course me, your moderator, the horseradish. We are going to be debating 3 different topics tonight. Each debate is going to be structured. They're going to be a modified Lincoln Douglas format with both openings, closings, and cross-examinations, with a 10 to 15 minute open discussion time in the middle. Thank you, whoever it was that did that. That was super nice in my ear holes. And finally, and it took me right out of my goddamn ramble. Thanks again for that.
Final part.
We're going to go ahead and open this up right now to the first debate, which is going to be value is determined by demand, not labor. Now, a lesson that I have learned is that I do need to give at least some sort of an understanding of what that prompt means, because there's been people who didn't understand prompts in the past and it just went sideways and off track and it was ugly. So, value, the net worth of something, is determined by demand, how much people want it, not labor, how much effort went into it. I feel like it's pretty simple, but I still want to just lay that general grid work. Now, is everybody ready out there in the audience? Have you guys voted? And debaters, do you both have your awesome openings ready?
There you go.
Went down right behind me.
Right down behind you. That's what I wanted to hear. All right, we got 3 minutes on the clock. Everybody, value is determined by demand, not labor. Get those last minute votes in. One last time. Boom. And Jesus, are you ready?
One sec.
All right. I'm hearing a little bit of a feedback, a little comeback of my own voice. I don't know who that's coming through on, but it's not awesome. Test. Test.
I think it's me.
Oh, it's gone. Thank you. Whoever fixed it.
Hey,
Nope, I
you
don't
didn't
either,
put a
so-
you didn't put a neither button for me. What is this?
A neither button for what?
For the
Oh
prompt
yeah,
of
because you're
value.
not debating this one, man.
I know, but
No,
how am I
you
supposed
can-
to vote on
You can go
this?
with the undecided. You can go with the undecided. Again, I'm very sorry, Circa, that you didn't get to do this debate. I was very excited about it.
No,
I'm
you're
just
okay.
as excited to hear these two go at it. So, Jesus, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, cheers. 3 minutes on the clock. Go ahead, sir.
So the prompt tonight that I will be affirming is that value is determined by demand and not by labor. Labor, of course, is a factor in the cost of something, or as I would put it in economic terms, the value, but not nearly as much as demand. Unless these terms are taken outside of the economic realm, I'm not sure how my opponent could disagree. I am certainly not an expert in economics or dialectics or any of that stuff, as I'm sure will come up. So if I ask for a clarification, I'm not playing stupid. I really just don't understand and would like to. I genuinely just don't see how one could take the opposing position. But hey, maybe I'll learn something that will change my worldview tonight. I'm always open to it. I anticipate that my opponent will use some kind of collectivist, communist, socialist coded jargon and theories to obfuscate the clear fundamental aspect of free trade, that value is what someone is willing to pay for. Where I think this debate would be most interesting is in a discussion of what value actually is, as opposed to some theoretical debate on capitalism versus socialism or some other economic structure. Value is defined by the regard that something is held to importance, or again, as I would put it, in monetary worth. If that is in fact what we are discussing, then I think it's rather clear that there's no other position than to agree that demand or desire reflecting immediate subjective preferences determines the value of a good or service to a much greater degree than labor, defined as the human effort, both physical, mental, and time used to produce goods or services. If labor were a determinant factor in value, then we would necessarily have to see goods and service of equal quality cost more or less simply for taking longer or shorter to offer the same thing. If I had to build a house and I was going to be paid based on the result, then I would want to put in as little effort as I could to achieve my standard of quality. I could easily drag my feet and pretend that I'm putting in more labor, but that raises an important question. If labor is what determines value, we need a mechanism to determine what the worth is of
going
labor
to tell you
itself.
whether or not
This
value
means we
is
would need to
determined by
account for
labor.
all things that are in labor, all things in labor, all the way down to the joules on each time I use my hammer to hit a nail,
Actually,
minus
someone else thought of this.
the wind resistance
There
going
were
in the
these
same direction
economists
and the
before Adam
gravity,
Smith
or
in
maybe the
the
wind
late
is blowing in the other
1600s
direction
called
and would require more
the
labor,
essentialists, I think.
labor.
And they thought
on windy days,
value came
I get
from the
paid
dirt,
more
the
than
soil.
on sunny days. If this is not what my opponent means, then I think we are in for a good discussion.
What if this guy knows that? Is it just
Landed
dirt
it
all the way down, or
perfectly.
what?
So I hear somebody talking in the background from somewhere, and it's most definitely not coming from here. I'm not sure where it's coming from, but I definitely hear it. So that said, if you could just tell whoever it is to shut the fuck up, that'd be super dope. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 minutes on the clock for you, Lonzo, to do your cross-examination. Are you ready for that, sir?
Sorry. Yeah, 1 second. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. It's your background noise, isn't it, Lonzo?
Yeah.
No, it's not. I'm just trying to, because I was listening to. It's good.
It's okay. Yep. No. As long as you're ready, 2 minutes on the clock. Go ahead with your cross.
No, there's definitely some noise.
All right. Okay, you said that they don't want this to be a discussion about labor being. I mean that, but whatever okay. What I don't understand is what you said is that you want this to be a discussion about how labor and demand affects the market for the value of something. You through the market, how it affects the value of something, but you don't want this to be some communist discussion of what value is, which is a weird take to have, since value, which you just said through the market, does not only pertain to currency. So I don't like this can still step away from that. So I like
Coming from?
Yeah, he's asking you questions. Cross-exam.
Where is the audio coming from? I do have a weird sound. Not me. I have everyone muted. What is that? It's me? How could it be me? I have no sound levels. 0 sound levels. I muted it. Fuck the sound is coming from.
All right, cool. Perfect. 2 minutes is over. 3 minutes is on the clock for your opening. That's all right. Yeah, that's right. 3 minutes is on the clock for you. Are you ready for your time, Lonzo? Whoever it is that has somebody stretching packing tape in the background, please go knock it out of their fucking hands. Thank you. All right, 3 minutes is on the clock. You ready, Lonzo? Yeah, the chat's saying something about it. Y'all didn't hear somebody just laugh. A lady laugh.
No, that's probably a browser you open or something.
I think I know what's doing. I think I know what's doing it. Is the stream together is probably not muted on my end.
Oh, somebody doesn't have the stream together muted. Oh my God, that'll do it. Yep. Okay. Appreciate you, Lethe. Yeah, everybody. I've got. Well, no, that doesn't even make sense though, because I've got mine. Oh, it fixed it. Oh, praise it, brother. Thank you very much.
My apologies.
Nope. It was Lethe. He fixed it. Thank you very much, good sir. You're the best. All right, back to it. 3 minutes on the clock for you, Lonzo. Are you ready, sir?
One thing that's pretty obvious is that labor, in large part, determines the value for every individual who works within this country. I mean, not for every individual, for a majority of individuals who work in this country, especially blue-collar jobs. If you have a job or something that you're working on, such as a construction site, and your labor is what you're being paid for, they don't pay you that off of the demand for it, especially if you're working for the government and you're doing government sites. That's not paid off of demand for it because it has to be done. It's just how
it was probably really good
economy works within this country.
All I'm gonna say.
And it's actually how most economies work, because there are certain things that have to be done regardless of the demand for it.
Praise Jesus.
Things that you could apply this to within our economy that do require demand over labor would be such as the food that we produce within this country, but that is part of an issue in the first place. What the question really is who gives it that value? Because if you're saying value to me for food, value to me for food is based off of the food itself being made. It doesn't matter the labor, nor does it matter the demand, such as
is it the dirt
if a person needs it in another country or something. Okay, it's what matters. I'm really trying. 1 second, let me think for a second. I'm sorry, man. I had a point. Okay, listen, when it comes to demand, my point here is that when it comes to demand, for example, right now within this country, I believe we waste around 2/3 of the food that we produce each year. Now, in order for us to accomplish that, and in order for the food to hold its value, we waste that 2/3 in order for us to drive up the demand, which means that the value of it is only determined by that demand that we've created whenever the labor is still being outputted. The reality is that to us as the people, the value of that demand does not matter, because that 2/3 of that food would be just as valuable to us even if you removed that demand in the first place. So the value of demand being what sets the value of things in this country can only work if you create that demand, and then by that demand you inflate the price. Like companies, for even with gas, they do this where they will say that there's an issue with how much gas that they can produce, which means that they can't produce enough for people, which means that they can inflate the price, which in reality isn't true, but the demand is their excuse for how they can inflate the price. God damn it, I can't.
And time. All right. God damn it, I can't was our closing statement there. All right, so good stuff. 2 minutes is on the clock for you now, Jesus. If you would like to use that to pick apart anything or direct the cross-examination, go ahead.
Yeah, so you were saying that for blue collar work, that labor, they get paid on the labor, but they get paid by the hour on the demand for that labor. They only get paid because there's somebody who has a demand for things to be built. So it doesn't matter if you work construction, you just go in a field and start building things. Nobody's going to pay you for that.
Wait. No. First off, I was relating that to government jobs, which does not require that there's an actual demand for that to be built by natural person. They build things constantly, which if any government builds things constantly regardless of actual demand for those things. They just do it so that there's a job that's being presented. I mean, that's quite literally done all the time.
I mean,
like,
yeah, corruption exists.
but
That doesn't
but
change the
also
fundamentals
demand.
of what we're talking
But
about.
you're also saying that the demand of labor is an example of how labor is not value, but demand is. That how the
I never
that's
said. I
causing us.
explicitly
You
said in my
just
opening that labor is an important part of this. It's just not as much as the demand.
so your argument here is that that it is demand because demand for labor is a demand. That's
Yes.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's your argument.
Yeah, it's not the work itself. It's the fact that somebody is willing to give money to somebody for that work. Like I said, if you're doing that same exact job, pick an 8-hour day of a construction worker, take it and do that exact work at a different place. The foreman or the company or whoever's not paying that dude because they don't have a demand for the labor in a field. They have a demand for the labor where they're doing the labor. So you said before, I don't know exactly what it was, but you said something would be the same value if you remove the demand. So this is where we get into what I was talking about, the economics, because there's such thing as sentimental value, but then I don't know how you put demand and labor into that.
I'm sorry. This is.
I tell you what, we're
I'm
going to go
sorry,
ahead
I
and just put the
genuinely-
10 minutes on. Nope, we're going to go ahead and put the 10 minutes on the clock. That was the end of the cross examination. I feel like he asked you a good question, give you an extra second to think about it. 10 minutes is on the clock. Y'all just go ahead and go at it.
Yeah, so I mean, it seemed like you were catching your thoughts. I feel like
No, I'm genuinely. I'm Radish. I'm sorry. It might be because I'm still taking medication, but I don't know why. But I have not been able to get a single proper thought through my head this whole conversation. I don't know what's going on. Like it is bad.
Is he okay?
Okay.
Sorry that you're feeling that way.
You got this, buddy.
No, I'm sorry.
I believe in you.
I was about to say, for what it's worth, I'm going to stop the clock for a second. I'm going to do something a bit unorthodox. For everybody who doesn't know, Lonzo had his tonsils taken out like 4 days ago. So that said, he is indeed under painkillers and such. Not that anybody gets a buy or an excuse. We're gonna mock you later for it.
There would
But
be
I'm
an
going to let you
excuse
sit
if
there. It
he's
looks
quite
like
a few.
Circa, because he was prepped for this. Jesus, are you okay with Circa stepping in and white knighting for Lonzo just to keep the action
White-
going?
Wait, white
Lonzo, are
knighting?
you okay with bending the knee and letting Circa come in and
As long
sword
as I don't
fight
need
for
another
you?
opening statement.
Nope,
It's
you're
all
good.
right.
It's just going to pick up where it's at. Lonzo, you're good? All
It's
right,
all right,
Circa,
yeah.
go after it.
Are you sure, Alonzo?
Yeah, you good, bro.
Do it.
Okay.
Feel better,
Just
bro.
so I don't misrepresent you. Instead of an
That's all
opening
right.
statement, Indian, can you describe to me in like one sentence again, just so I don't misrepresent you? Exactly why
Value is what
don't need
people are
number, right?
willing to pay for something.
Okay. So value has to have like some transactional element to it.
Yes.
Okay. And the prompt though, right? Prompt is value is determined by demand, not labor, right? So you're affirming that demand is the reason, I thought.
Yes.
So what does that have to do with money?
It has a lot to do with money. The whole economy is based on people having demands for things, and that demand subjectively creates value, and then people trade money for the things that they want. So that's a trade, and it's
Okay.
inherently an unequal trade because, I don't know. If
So
we're gonna
without
go
money,
into-
value would not exist, or
No, that's what we use to represent value. You go back to bartering. And if I want to,
So that doesn't mean that
trade,
it's-
let's say you're dying of thirst, and I got this cup of water, and I say I'll trade you for that guitar behind you. Now
we
if you
never
are
had a
thirsty,
barter
and
economy,
the
bro.
value of this cup of water is a
There is
lot
literally
lower.
no
But if you're
evidence
dying
to
of
suggest
thirst, if you're dying of thirst, you would not take a cup of water for that guitar.
that's not how older societies worked. We never had bartering.
I
Adam
didn't
Smith.
ask if that's how older societies worked. I asked if you would take the cup of water and trade me for that guitar if you were going to die
Except
without
you're
the water.
presupposing the idea that barter economies existed, which comes from Adam Smith, and you said trade,
I'm
right?
asking you a question. I have water. The hypothetical, let's take out everything else and start fresh. You are about to die of thirst. I
Yep.
have water to give you.
Yep.
The exchange, the trade, is that you give me the guitar. On the
Why are
wall
you
behind
assuming there's a trade?
hold on. Would you think that your subjective value in that water is much higher because you're dying of thirst if you weren't dying of thirst. Well, I mean, unless you want to trade me a bottle of water for the guitar right now, I'm down.
That's fine. I don't know how that relates to the prompt. I don't know what subjective, whatever you just said, has to do with how demand.
Because value is subjective. Value is inherently subjective, and so whatever someone decides they are willing to pay for something, or
Okay, so
whatever,
let's go back to the
take it-
prompt. Are you thinking of demand in an economic way, or are you thinking of like a personal will?
Yes.
So
No, in an economic
what you
way.
said is
So
not
like I
an
said, if
economic
there- if-
definition of demand. What are you talking about?
Okay, correct me then. Like I said, I'm not playing stupid here. I'm just saying
What does
value
my
is the
subjective
demand people have for it. So
Dying
if
of
there's a
thirst have
demand
to
for
do with
something,
the economic definition of demand.
I gave you a colloquial definition for how I'm using demand in my opening. I'm gonna read it again for you. But that's what I'm talking about. So if you want to get into an argument about semantics, I said a desire reflecting
So
immediate
what if
subjective
instead
preferences. That
did
is
we
what
didn't-
I am saying.
what if we
That
did
is
not
how I am
trade for
defining
things?
demand. So if you have a better definition of demand, I'm willing to hear it.
I mean, you can open up an econ textbook and go to chapter 1
I
and probably
could.
get one. Yeah.
But I'm kind of already winning this debate with my own definition. So why would I?
Fine. Sure. Now, if without
Just give me
this
the
trade,
definition that you want to use, dude.
now without this trade going on that you're talking about, right? Do you think that value could not exist?
No,
What if it was
no.
just dead?
What if it was dead?
As in, there's no barter, there's no trade. Do you think value can't exist then, or what?
I don't know. Good question. What does that have to do with labor and demand?
Well, you just said its value is determined by demand, so
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure.
So is there a question?
No, my answer to this actually is undecided, right? I would say neither. I think value is, again, I wrote it on HISP, but this is going to be determined by an economic doctrine. And then the bounded properties as well as the parameters that make that doctrine work are going to denote and prescribe value. So it is subjective in a way. Because there were early
Yep, that's
economists
what I
who
said in
thought
my
that
opening.
it came from the dirt. No, you said that it comes from demand itself. That is a property.
No, I said demand is subjective. The value, what you're willing to pay, that was why I used the water guitar thing. Because at this very moment, you're not willing to trade a bottle of water for that guitar, correct? Because you value the guitar more than the value of the water. But
This is
if
like
you're
a-
about to
this is
die,
like
the
a
value of the
Jordan
water
Peterson
subjectively to
hierarchical
you
argument?
goes
I'm
up.
confused.
What am I wrong about?
You're wrong about why it's
You're
determining
very
value.
frustrated with me, and I don't understand why. Like I said, I'm not trying to play stupid. I genuinely don't understand what you're upset about.
I'm asking you, if we didn't have demand, could you not have value?
And I answered you, and I said, no, that's not the case. We could have value.
So, did you say yes to this prompt or no to this prompt?
I'm the affirmative. That
So you
value
say
is
yes,
determined by
value
demand,
is determined
not
by
by
demand.
labor.
You just said that it doesn't have
So
to be
your
determined
position
by-
is that it's determined by labor. So do you have anything to say about that? How labor determines value?
I
That
don't
would be a
think
good
it's
place to start.
determined by either, actually.
Okay, say more.
I think we're good, right?
I mean, yeah, okay.
I mean, you kind of
Okay,
just
You're
lost
done. I'm good.
by prompt, right?
Sure. Well, so we'll go ahead and close it there. This one kind of fell apart from the start, but that's okay. We still got closings and judges. If they have any questions for this weird ass debate, please send them to me directly. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and put 3 minutes on the clock. I enjoyed that more than I probably had any right to. So with that said, 3 minutes to you first, Jesus. Do you want to go ahead and put a cherry on it? You don't have to put the whole 3 minutes in. We didn't use the whole fucking 10 minutes. So here we go. You ready?
Ready.
All right, go ahead, buddy.
Why did he think
So
that
I think
thought
it's very clearly, as I
labor
stated in my opening, it's a fundamental
determined
principle
demand
that
for, value?
what people want or how much people want things determines the price of it. And so it doesn't matter if you make something really hard, if you work really hard. If people don't want it, then the
Do you think
demand
value
is,
means
is
price,
no.
man?
Dude,
What?
this is
In
his
this case-
closing, sir.
Yeah. So in this case, I was saying specifically that we're talking about in an economic circumstance, and that if we were the last frame, what was the last words? Let's read it again. If this is not, where is it? if this is not what my opponent means, then I think we are here for an interesting debate. So I gave you the parameters that we're talking about economics. I defined value. I defined demand. I defined labor, and I gave you my position. And you said absolutely nothing about how
theory
labor
of value he's pulling from.
is a determinant factor in demand.
I wonder which theory of value he's pulling from.
And I can see my time.
And that's it. All right.
I guess we'll never know.
Cool. Well, then we're going to go ahead and put 3 minutes back on the clock. Once again, for everybody, just in case I wasn't clear about this, during openings and closings, it is only the person who is opening and closing. Everybody else should.
Yeah, my bad.
So 3 minutes is on the clock for you, Circa. If you would be so kind, sir. This gives you the chance to do the opening you didn't really do. Go ahead and start when you're ready.
Oh, for labor for this prompt still?
Yes.
All right, so 3 minutes. I don't have anything written, unfortunately, but
well, you know what? Then in that case, since we're doing a tag team here, Lonzo, do you feel like you can do a closing now that you listen to that?
Yeah, you can have Lonzo come.
Lonzo?
Nope.
If not, no pressure. Okay, cool. Circa, give us 3 minutes off the top of your head. You obviously know the material. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm just gonna close with my sentence. I said value for this prompt. Value is essentially going to be prescribed and denoted by whatever economic doctrine is going to be creating the parameters and the properties for it. So if we go from like Marx's labor theory of value and we try to only determine value through that, it's going to have a lot of holes and a lot of problems if you look at it from different ways. So economics is not exactly axiomatic that way. We can look at Ricardo's. He doesn't really have a well thought out theory of value like Marx did, at least as is shown in Das Kapital, but he does have his own as well. We also have the neoclassical school, which has their own version of it, which is based on marginal productivity, which has a lot of holes as well, and it conveniently for Ian deals with price. But my closing statement is just that value is not going to be determined by demand or labor. It's going to be determined by whatever economic doctrine is trying to denote value in it, using properties like demand or labor, but that's not going to be what inherently determines value.
Okay, and we'll kill that. It looks like we do actually maybe have a question. No, looks like the judges want me to go ahead and take this out back and put a bullet in it. So we're going to go ahead and call it there. I'm dropping the new vote because I know everybody was swayed by that intriguing conversation. I enjoyed it thoroughly, regardless of how crazy it turned out to be. But I'm going to give the judges a couple of seconds here to process their notes, which I'm sure they have tons of. And I'm going to give it a few minutes for everybody in chat to go ahead and vote. And to everybody out there who does not have a stream together, go ahead and grab that and throw the new one right there and throw it into your chat as well so that everybody can vote on that. Judges, do you guys... Yes, sir.
Sorry, real quick. I'm not seeing it on your chat. Can you just throw it in the voice channel chat here?
Yes, I will, sir. 100%.
Thank you.
Boom. Boom, boom. There you go. That is going to be the one for this after prompt. And I want to say again, Lonzo, I understand, man. You did take this under less than desirable circumstances, but I'm definitely glad you still made it in tonight. We definitely enjoy having you every time, and even if you feel like you're under the weather, I'm glad you tried to pull through and you tried to do what you could there. So, and Circa, I also want to say thank you for being willing to step up to the plate and be a pinch hitter and do what you could to try to dig him back out of that hole. So, what are you about to say, Lethe? Or I'm sorry, Lonzo.
It is crazy that this is the first time my cousin has showed up to a debate, and the whole time.
And that's when you trip and fall on your face?
The whole time. I can usually, even if I don't know what I'm fully arguing, I can at least think. I just blink. It's like blank. Like I'm still trying to figure out what the discussion is, to be honest with you.
Yep. I understand, sir. We all have bad days. Like I said, it's no big deal. Drugs do.
Even the economists who make these models, Lonzo, don't even know what value is either.
Yeah, I was about to say, Lonzo needed to do more drugs. That's how he ended up in this predicament.
Is that what it was?
Lack of resistance.
If you
when you're feeling better,
we would have taken him to the next peak.
Yeah, no, I will make sure and set you two up again next time for a debate. I will find another prompt for the two of y'all, and this time Lonzo will actually do his homework. But with that said, I'm gonna go to Let's Chief first. Let's Chief, you look like you are ready to go.
There is nuance, but
where did you score this? And
the prompt doesn't allow for it because it's determined by demand. It's just I guess if you're
I'm
using
gonna
a
have to
certain,
give this one to
even then,
Lush,
it's like, what are we
the
talking
Indian
about?
Jesus. The
The prompt
only,
needs to be
you
more like
know, the only point I
specific,
don't have a ton of notes as you
or
predicted, obviously, for this
is
one.
our theories
It
of
seemed
value
like, you know, Lutch pointed out that there was
axiomatic,
no
more
affirmative
axiomatic, less
argument
axiomatic,
made for
relevant?
why value
There's so many.
is determined by labor, like at all. He openly put it out there for it to be knocked down. He was not afraid of it, and you know, it's just whether it was, you know, drugs or a lack of desire to make that argument because that's not your position. It just never happened. The only thing I thought was interesting was when jobs programs got mentioned, Lutz referred to that as corruption, which I thought was kind of like an interesting framing, but it didn't affect my scoring in the debate. But I'm going to give this one to Lutz. Good job.
Cheers to that. And DPP, Mr. Patriot, do you have your judgment ready, sir?
Yeah, I had pretty much similar thinking to Let's Chief. Also gave it to the Indian Jesus up here.
You know what's funny, guys?
I was following
Is that
the other side.
I think Indian
I
was
agree
doing
for the most
exchange
part. I
value
just think
theory,
that the prompt was
which
more
is a
kind of
classist
engaged with on
economics
his
one.
side.
And
So that's kind of where I went with that.
I don't
I
really have the
did
heart to
think that
say this, but
the
like
stuff that Lonzo brought up
labor is
about like
what
the
determines
services that
value
are
in
just
those
needed,
fucking
but
theories with exchange.
it's not necessarily. I
Demand
think
is
that
not
what he was
does
trying to
that.
frame it is not necessarily like needed by demand,
He
but
should have
needed
said
by
no
necessity,
if he was going to
or
argue from
something
a
along those
exchange
lines.
value economic
I
perspective.
give him points on that a bit because I think that's a valid kind of point there.
Just
But outside of
thought I
that,
should probably bring that up.
Circa, I think, stepped in pretty well. I agree with most of his takes on the prompt. Again, I just think Indian Jesus up here kind of engaged with it a little more.
Hey, cheers. So that is so far 2 votes for Jesus. That means no matter what the audience thinks, just like in our presidential elections, you have already won. With that said, I just so you know, Patriot, I think what he was trying to phrase it as the demand for labor, right? So that I actually wrote that note down as well. The way that Lonzo had done the demand for labor thing, I was really hoping he was gonna fucking take that home because that was really cool. But other than that, Jesus, yeah, dude, absolute fucking fire. I see. Just like Jesus, you walked on water, buddy. Circa, like I said, you absolutely came in here and you did what you could there. But yeah, in order for your argument to have really worked, I think you would have needed to do an opening to set up the framework for you to be able to climb a ladder, right? And you kind of didn't have that opportunity. So, but again, it was a one-off. Shit happens. It is what it is. I will take a quick glance, and everybody should be able to see what the votes are themselves. But let's take a look at the results. The after results, it looks like 71% for yes,
framing when he said that.
No.
Imagine we trade for water.
And then for the first
He's
attempt,
assuming
it was
like a labor theory one,
that one,
which is what an exchange value
results for that
economic
one
theory
was
is.
83%.
I don't know how he could have thought
won
that
the
would work.
audience persuasion. Cheers to that. So at least the audience likes you guys down there on the bottom row.
We're
So
talking
it wasn't
about
just a
portion
shutout.
of one commodity being
Great job to
exchanged with
both of you
another.
guys. Jesus,
Okay?
I'd love to have you hang out as long
Then
as you want to. If you
value
need to go, I understand.
is
Same thing
derived
for you,
from the
Lonzo.
labor. It's
Love to have
called
you
a
hang
labor
out.
theory.
We do the after party afterwards.
Even
where we
use
all get to
value
yell
and
at each
everything
other
like
and
that.
stuff. But if
funny.
you guys do have other shit going on or whatever, no harm, no feelings, I'll understand. So
Yeah, I do got to run, but I really, really do appreciate you this whole format. I appreciate you having me, and
cheers.
definitely down to,
Really quick,
congratulations
are
on the win,
you
my friend.
aware of the theory that Jesus actually did live in India in the lost years?
I have not heard that. No.
And that he ended up dying in France. That's a whole nother conversation.
John Smith in America in 1900, though. Come on.
My fault, bro. I'll give you a better debate next time.
There you go. Yeah, I guarantee you will be
learn
getting invites every time, sir, and I will hope that you respond. So I appreciate you hanging out, man. And
Thank you,
cheers.
thank you.
And your opponent
Very
will
much
maybe
appreciate
be
it.
less on drugs. We'll see.
All right.
Not if
cool.
I have anything
So,
to say about it.
there you go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to our second prompt, everybody. Second prompt. Let me go ahead and get that into everybody's chat first so that you guys can start voting on this one. Control copy, control paste. enter. Audience, please go ahead and grab that. I'm going to put this into this chat as well. Control V, boom. So if those of you who are not with me in Twitch can also send it out. This time we have another newcomer. We are going to have Mr. Confluence debating a regular Lethe on prison inmates and should they be allowed to vote. Now,
Dude,
this was one of the ones that I have sent out multiple times to my great frustration because everybody wants to put some sort of parameters
but I have onions.
or
I don't want onions
on it. And the fact of the matter is, the ones that they're trying to put into it are intentionally left out, which is to say that the question here is not should prison inmates be allowed to vote after they get out of prison, or should certain prison inmates with only certain kinds of crimes be allowed to vote. The question we are asking is, should people who are interned in a prison be allowed to vote while they are still in prison, or should you being in prison take away your civil right to vote? So on the affirmative here, saying that prison inmates should still be allowed to vote, we have Lethe Water Kai right above my head, and arguing against that prompt to my immediate right, we have Confluence. Now we have 3 minutes on the clock. One more time for everybody. Hit that vote while you still can. And Lethe, are you at least somewhat prepared?
No, not in the slightest. Why would I prepare for these things?
All right, good shit. 3 minutes is on the clock for you, Lethe. Are you ready to go, sir?
Yeah, we can go ahead and get this started.
All right, kick it off.
So I'm going to start off with a quote from one of my favorite characters in a video game. If the penalty for a crime is a fine, then that law only exists for the lower class. Currently, here in America, we have the largest prison population of any country on the entire planet. Not per capita, but just by sheer numbers alone. We have more prison inmates than China and India. Why is this going to be the case that so many people are going to be allowed to be disenfranchised from being able to put forward their thoughts on how the American project should work? So with this in mind, you can have a jail that will farm out inmates to go work at McDonald's as prison labor, but they can't be trusted to vote. Why is this allowed? Apparently they're good enough to be able to work a counter in front of the public and actually do customer service, but they aren't allowed to vote. So why should 2% of the population not be able to make their voice heard in America just because of the way the prison system works? And if you want to look back at the early 1970s when Nixon's war on drugs began, that is when the population,
should be allowed to vote.
The prison population began to
felons
vote.
are allowed to run for president.
So this being the case, it's also disenfranchising
then they should be able to vote
specifically minority voters at most. This is a form of slavery in a lot of ways, not chattel slavery,
we have a dude
but
who
a
literally
different form of slavery.
Became president as a felon, so
I'll end there.
Imagine thinking they should.
Good stuff. I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock for you, Mr. Confluence. I think you understand what a cross-examination is. Use this time how you want, poke holes, or set yourself up. 2 minutes. Are you ready, Confluence?
I am ready, yeah.
Get after him, boss.
Okay, I thought I expected the opening was going to be longer, but that's totally cool. I guess you said they have the largest prison population. They are, I don't know if you said that, but the U.S. doesn't. They don't, to be clear.
Okay, that's what
but they do have a very large incarcerated
per capita
population.
They do, right?
But I guess what I would ask is, don't you think that effect would be larger if we let a blocking vote of that magnitude vote? If there is like 1.5 to 2 million prisoners that are incarcerated in like actual prisons, you would agree that's going to cause a massive sway if you get those people to vote.
That's the point. They have representation.
Yes. Why should these people not be allowed to have their vote heard?
This does not engage with the idea that they should or should not be able to vote.
I'm just saying the United States doesn't have the largest one. You could fact check me on that later, but
it does.
They do not.
They have
so who does? If they don't,
I
who
don't.
does?
I just know they don't. There's a lot of despot
Holy crap,
countries that have like a lot of people in prison. And it's like on a per capita level, it's not on an absolute level.
I said not per capita. I said by sheer number. I said specifically not per capita.
We definitely have the highest per capita. That's a fucking fact. That's a fucking fact, bro. But hold on. Isn't God? How many people live in God's country? Wouldn't that be the largest prison population? That's like 2 point. How many has Israel killed so far? Depends on how many he's killed.
And vote. I'm
Or
saying
how
no one
many
who's in a
Netanyahu's
prison.
murdered.
If you're in a prison, you're not working at McDonald's, right? So you're
Do you not
talking about them being.
understand that? I'm sorry, you must not understand what I'm talking about. There are
Then
certain
by all
states
means, by
in
all
which
means.
they have prison labor, and that prison labor detail takes these people, buses them from the prison to go work at McDonald's for the day as their prison labor, and then brings them back to the.
Okay. Okay. So
know
you
of
don't.
any
Okay. So you don't
prison
mean
that does
post
that.
prison.
Time. Nope. That's it for the cross examination. I'm gonna go ahead and put 3 minutes on the clock for you, Confluence. This is your time to shine, sir. Nobody else will speak. Are you ready to go?
I am ready.
All right. 3 minutes on the clock. Go, sir.
Okay, my position is that prisoners should not be allowed to vote. To be sentenced to a prison, you're generally doing a felony or other serious crime and have therefore been incarcerated. With few exceptions, namely Maine and Vermont, and I think the District of Columbia, you can't vote while in prison. And this draws its roots from the second clause of the 14th Amendment, where it has the relevant exceptions to who is entitled to vote, except.
Which is fundamentally only there to straight up continue slavery through debt peonage and is entirely racist. Buddy,
the equal protection.
That was a concession to try and keep them happy. What in the fuck?
On legal basis, both from the
The 14th Amendment, by the way, is not something that.
Oh, and I think there's a good reason for that. If you've engaged in a
Think
certain
of, like,
act, you
Lockwood
lose
and
certain
Lockwood
rights. You've
Pharmacy.
broken the social and legal contract you have as a
philosophy, right?
citizen,
It's
and therefore you
antithetical
don't
to it.
enjoy all the rights that normal, non-incarcerated people have. Voting ultimately is tied to civic responsibility, and by committing a serious crime, being placed in prison, you are no longer participating in society.
Except we let them become president, I guess.
You do temporarily lose a lot of rights. You can't read the books that you want. You don't have the same right to press.
Voting is not meant to be a privilege that you should lose based on acts you commit, if I'm not mistaken, because disenfranchisement still exists for people who are felons.
Partake.
It's just fundamentally a Lockean philosophy there. I don't know why you would. If here's the problem: if you really think felons are a problem voting because there are too many, then that says more about the fucking country as a whole right now than it does about the fact that too many felons voting will actually do anything to change. Like they're gonna overturn it and be like, fucking felons run the government now. With like, what are you doing?
Somewhere
What are we
between
talking about?
1.5 to 2 million people incarcerated in a prison. If these 2
And?
million people could suddenly vote, they would like.
He literally just went right into what I was just talking about. That is not a problem with felons voting. That is a problem with the fact that we literally incarcerate people for everything for some reason. That's a fucking different problem.
Power to hurt and influence the outside world. We don't want them to ensemble together and have political power and be wine and dined by judicial reform promises that could be negative for society at large.
Yeah, the felons are gonna band together and fucking take over the government. Come on.
People in prison not voting. That has precedent to back it up. I think it's fine that the states have the power to make their own decisions on the matter, but the vast majority of states have
The states don't because the 14th Amendment exists.
rights while in prison. I think voting is a civic duty based on a civic contract, one that someone in prison has broke, and I think the outcomes of prison voting blocks would be harmful for society at large.
That it says more about
10
society than
seconds
it
left on
does
the
about
clock.
prison
Fire
voting.
there. Lethe, if you are ready, you got 2 minutes on the clock to direct
What a
questioning.
weird argument.
Are you ready to go, sir?
The only good
So you're
thing,
saying it would be
Give
a
it to him.
concentrated voter
the only good thing I
base,
think I heard
and
there
you're saying that
was
all these
the
prisoners
fact
would
that he
agree
understands voting's a
on what
privilege,
they're
but
voting
I
on.
think he
and this
fundamentally
would
just
create
doesn't understand
so much of a
privileges
problem
can have variance
within the
too.
voter base that it just can't be done.
I think it would cause a voting block because obviously, if you're in prison, a big concern of yourself is being in prison. So yes, you would lend it yourself to being a single issue voter, and then you'd be wine and dined, as I said, by people who want to buy that prison vote. Because 2 million people is no small amount of people. I mean, as we both agree, large amount of incarcerated people in the.
Again, why does this matter? They still need to be represented.
What in the name of
fact-
Indian Jesus would be the voting block, and what would like
What do you-
literally all
wait,
these people be voting for? Like, what thing is
It
going to
would
bring
be a
all
voting
these
block.
prisoners together?
It would be a
You
voting
wine
block.
and
Prison
dine- How do you wine and dine a prisoner?
Wait, by promising them clemency, by talking about lesser sentencing, by promising pardons. I mean, you could have all.
They're not able to do that. Actually, being able to vote doesn't mean that you can make a super PAC called clemency for all felons. What in the fuck is he talking about?
In
Does he think that felons getting the right to vote means they can now make the legislation, or what?
that you will definitionally be.
Wait, I'm getting a thought. The dude who's literally president is a fucking felon who's writing
So
legislation.
they're gonna put
Think
like
about it.
$10 in everybody's commissary books, and then they're gonna get what they want. That sounds.
Well, that's not what I
hilarious.
said. I said things like promising pardons, things like promising clemency.
Literally, Trump is promising pardon. He's actually just done them.
That's already
Is this guy
happening anyway.
attacking Trump?
I have no worry about that because literally the president of the
And you
United
want
States
2 million
right now
people
is
to
doing
vote
it.
on that, though.
Yeah, exactly. Why not? Why shouldn't you
Sorry,
be able to
it's
vote
your
in your best interest?
cross-examination.
Well, yeah. Why shouldn't you be able to vote in your best interest?
Because you've broken the societal contract. And so
Did you really?
society's best interest. If you're in prison, you have committed a felony, and you're voting in your own best interest because you're probably in prison, and you've kind of lost temporarily the ability to vote for society.
So you're
What do
assuming
you
that
mean
every
temporarily?
Just in
single
mind.
felon.
What?
You're assuming every single felon is guilty.
Temporarily.
I'll just keep
No.
rolling. I got the 10 going.
Okay, we got the 10 going.
Okay,
So
Yep,
there we go.
if people that are there are
It does
plenty
say
of people
prison
that are
inmates.
disenfranchised
I
in
still think
voting
prison inmates
because
should be
people that
allowed to
are
vote.
being held in prison also don't get their votes count because the system doesn't work in favor of them. So that's
Right,
more
and it shouldn't.
disenfranchising of voting.
Right, and that's how it ought to be. And I want to hear an argument on why you think it should be otherwise.
Because the
'Cause most
philosophy of
states
this
agree with
fucking
me.
country is that
In
someone's
wait, I thought you
representation
said they're in prison.
should be there
Yes,
no
they're
matter
in
what.
prison. They're being
Wait, so
held
are you saying
in
like
prison.
people who are like innocent, like they like had a
No.
false
You
like
are
innocence
even-
project
even-
shit? Like what are we
Are you
talking
not
about? Because
innocent?
if you're
Are you
Some
not
right.
innocent until you get a guilty verdict?
if you're in prison, then you have a guilty verdict. You don't go to you go to jail.
Like, this guy thinks that if we give prison inmates the right to vote, then they're suddenly going to take over the government or something. No, they're just going to be able to vote for a candidate who might represent them a little better. But no candidate is going to suddenly take full fucking ownership of the felon super PAC. And by the way, we could probably make sure that they can't hold super PACs or can't organize that way. At least they can vote in local elections. I don't know.
Contract. And I guess
So, but
I
this
want to. I
thing-
guess
But
I,
the social contract argument he has is probably the best one he's got so far. It is a privilege, and we can take privileges away. It is not like an unalienable right. There is no natural right to vote.
then that you obviously you can't own a weapon in prison, right? Like a lot of amendments allow.
You can't run for office from prison, so that's probably a good way to keep this overtaking of all the fucking prisoners who are gonna magically become the government.
Absolutely constitutional to deny voting rights from people that were both in prison and are felons after.
I guess one of the other problems would be like, where do you count their vote if they're in a prison in like California or
I'm
something,
saying
but they aren't from California? Do you give them absentee ballots so they can vote, kind of on their own community? I think that would be okay.
End all be all when it comes to rights.
because it's literally the voice of America. And there are certain policies that have been put in place that have put more people in prison unjustly. Just like I was saying before, when Nixon put out the war on drugs.
I just want to say, even if it was justly, I still think they should be able to vote in prison. I don't think we need to demarcate people who are like, slight criminals versus people who are real
Okay, so
criminals who have
okay, so
done
it sounds like you're fine
unjust
with
things.
certain people losing their voting
And
rights.
you went
Do
right
you
into
just
it.
want to kind of
Fuck.
like you want
Who
to
have I
kind
said
of
I'm fine with losing their
Went
voting
right
rights?
into it.
I've never
well,
said
just the
anything.
fact that you're bringing up the example of like someone like selling drugs and stuff, it sounds like you'd give them
Yeah, that was an easy fucking layup.
was a rapist or like someone who took someone else's life. Then should they still be allowed to vote? Because if so,
Yes,
then
they
why
should.
bring
Yes.
To me, yes, they should.
up that? Then that's a distraction. You think that
It's not a
everyone should be allowed to
distraction at
vote?
all.
It doesn't.
There's a bunch
It
of,
absolutely
there's a bunch
is
of
because you
rapists
think
walking
they
around
all
in
should be.
society right now that get to vote. You're being goofy.
Well, sure, no, but that's. Do you mean people that
We
have
got one in
paid-
office right now. Like, come on.
Okay, well that's not criminal charge. If we're again, we have to be precise on what we mean. If you're a rapist in most states,
Not a criminal charge. Bro, he had 32 felonies. How can you have a... Does he know what a felony is?
one I'm not thinking of. There's like 3 states I think where it's like you can be disenfranchised like on a pretty permanent basis. But in most states, after you get released and after you're off parole, you are allowed to vote again,
I still
feel
think
like
they
no
should
matter
be able
how
to vote in
clear I
prison.
am with you,
except for a
I
few
feel like
states.
no matter how clear I am with you, you're just really not going to get where I'm coming from with this. I'm pointing out to you that certain laws that are put on the books specifically disenfranchised minorities to lower the amount of minorities that are able to.
Okay, this is not engaging with the prompt, unfortunately, ma'am.
So
I think this could be true back in the
being disenfranchised.
This could be true back in the day. Like I think if you were punting to a historical argument, I think I would almost accept that, because after slavery was done and stuff, they would get people on like vagrancy laws, and they would historically
debt peonage
disenfranchise black people, because obviously
debt
if you
peonage.
just came off a plantation, you're gonna have troubles with housing, and so they arrest you for
the very amendment he cited earlier, the 14th Amendment, was designed to keep debt peonage. He used that as a way to advance his position earlier, and I'm really confused now. Does he not like it, or
bar to be in prison? We're not talking about jail. We have to distinguish those two things, right? So you have done something that society, and again, if you don't like those laws, then vote to change them. But you've done something that society has considered that you don't even deserve just jail time, that you're in jail for more than 1 or 2 years or whatever it is, that you deserve prison time. And so if you've broken that social contract that deeply, why would you then be allowed to vote to change policy?
That's the best argument so far. It really did. Maybe the argument there is that, I can see that being a good argument. I still think prison inmates should be able to vote, but that's the best argument he's made so far.
Can put you in prison, and they can tell you what you can't read. They can tell
really
you
is
where you can go. They can
the
tell you how much privacy you have. There's so many things that change. And so it seems like you're elevating the voting issue to an extreme
I think
example.
This country, though,
and
has shown that it values the idea that everyone can vote.
No, but anybody that is
and have
actually a
representation.
part of the country itself and has stake in what happens within that country should have their voice heard, no matter
that's
what
not
goes on.
Okay, no, that's not. So you
That's a
think a
good argument.
16-year-old should be able to vote based on what you just said?
Or would you
do
it if you can
okay,
end
a
up being
15-year-old?
elected?
They probably could, actually.
We already have one, which is perfectly
Okay.
fine. I'm not gonna.
The country's
I'm not
not
here to
really
argue that.
founded on an age kind of principle, though, for this. Voting is. The age thing came later, too.
In the same way that you're saying I'm disenfranchising prisoners if I don't want them to vote.
Why is a 14-year-old not allowed to vote?
Because the 14th Amendment.
Why does the 14th Amendment exist?
Because we have deemed that we want to, we have the Equal Protections Clause.
Let me
We
get my
want
constitution.
the people who should vote.
Why did he say the 14th Amendment is why? It's the 10th Amendment. It's just the states can handle their elections.
18.
Yeah, I've been saying the wrong. I was thinking of drinking, But yeah, we've determined that people under the age of 18 should not vote, and in the same way, because we don't think they have a good stake in society, they're not part of the social contract. And with prisoners, we also think that they have given up their share in the social contract, albeit temporarily. Besides Kentucky and the other states, right? Only a few of them believe that. But almost every state believes that yes, that is something, and that's what the 14th Amendment believes, that
states that try kids under 18 as adults when they commit felonies. Would he say the same thing? I don't really know.
Which is very arbitrary. The only reason you're pulling from that would be from the amendment and from how SCOTUS has decided. And that's my exact argument on why we think that if you're a felon.
I think the United States founding.
Honestly, I say as soon as you're paying taxes in any way, shape, or form, you should be able to vote. But we're not here to argue that right now. We're talking about people who have, especially with being brought up on charges for crimes, have a stake in society and are mature enough to make decisions about voting. So why can't these well over 18-year-old individuals that are in prison get a vote?
We can move on from that. I just want to point out that you don't think that every American citizen should be able to vote. So I think that you're putting you agree with that part of the 14th Amendment, but you don't agree with the rest, which is fine. But I guess I want to move on if you're willing.
Are you ignoring my qualifier?
I'm saying your qualifier comes from the same amendment that I am drawing from. It comes from the same place. So the fact that you're putting an age of majority at 18, that's exactly the same reason I'm saying that crimes is something that can disenfranchise somebody. It comes from the same document. So I don't know what you want in that sense, right? It's we're getting that from the same place. You're rejecting half of it and not accepting the whole thing, and you're rejecting precedent and all the rulings that have been done on that. So
just because it's the rule, it should be the rule. We can't amend it. There's no reason.
It is the Constitution. I just want to point out it is the Constitution, which is That's cool if you don't like that part of the Constitution, but I'm just saying it's from the same place that you get the age from. But I do want to ask you about the voting block thing, because I don't think I heard a very good answer on that. How do you not think, you seem to like really go against me in that in your rebuttal to my opener, but how do you not see that like, let's say, imagine you and me were in prison, and then someone, let's say Kamala Harris is like, hey, anyone who's in prison, let's just an insane hypothetical. Let's say she's like, I'll half your prison sentences. Well, all 2 million people that are in a fucking prison, they would vote for Kamala Harris. I mean, even me as someone.
Wouldn't that just be illegal? I mean, a candidate right now could say, I'm going to cut your taxes in half.
Because that's just silly on its face. Like, for the same reason that all the people that voted for Trump wanted the J6ers to get
people's taxes in half.
Clemency. This happened anyway. So whether or not they can vote or can't vote, there are people that want certain people out.
I've muted some.
They would have. So I feel like you and me are on the same page.
I'm saying before they went to jail.
Okay, but once they're in jail, anyone who's in jail will obviously vote for Trump because he's saying he's going to pardon him. That's definitionally a special interest group that will obviously vote in a way we both know they're going to vote.
Why are we just assuming all of these people are going to be somehow in like a pact lobbying on behalf of prisons? So confused.
I want to see my friends. I like, that's the political partisan stuff. I'm like, hey, that's like so appealing to me. I might just vote. I might be a single issue voter. And do you not think you think that's an insane thing to happen? And I want to know why you think.
It's pretty insane to think that giving prison inmates the right to vote when there are countries that already do this.
Because A, I don't see that being the case. B, even if it's
don't have this issue whatsoever. Maybe not to the same degree. Cross-country analysis, be damned here, but like, there is no reasonable evidence to suggest that that's what would happen. Is suddenly like the government's.
I'm saying by what parameter?
By what
parameter could she even say I'm going to like half all of your prison sentences? How would she be able to make that happen? You can say whatever you want. Literally anybody can say anything they want.
Presidents have full.
Yeah.
I mean, the right to go home is not a right. The right to private property and the right to pursuit of happiness, which is integral to that. And then the right to one's life and the right to happiness, inalienable ones that this country was founded on,
if you think that's going to be what happens,
are fundamentally different than the right to go home.
It's a hypothetical, and it's designed to test the logic.
No,
it is goofy, but you're not giving me a good answer to it, which makes it less goofy. If you gave me a good answer, then I agree.
If all these people actually believed it, saw some road to where this was possible to happen, and it caused all of them, literally all of them, to vote for this individual, yeah, maybe you could see that as a harm, but that's not even in the realm of possibility. So
I don't know why you don't see that. You at least see it on the J6 level. Let's say they're all in prison, the January 6th protesters, and Trump says, I want to pardon you. Obviously, 100% of them, even if they like change their mind, they're going to vote for Trump. They're going to vote for the guy who's going to pardon them from their like 20-year prison sentences. That's not goofy. That's just like on its face, like common sense, right? You would agree with that. The J6ers, it doesn't. Wait, what do you disagree with on that? You think the J6ers, even if they change their mind, and the guy is saying, I will get you out of jail. I'll get you home to see your wife and kids. I will give you life again so you don't come into prison when you're like 60 years old. You don't think they'll be like, absolutely, I will vote for that. I don't really care about the other stuff, the other kind of minutia issues that don't affect my life, because what issue would affect your life more than telling someone that they could get out of prison either immediately or a lot sooner?
You're thinking about these things in a vacuum. I don't know why this weird black and white thought process is in your head, but if people have felony convictions for things that they know full well they're never going to get clemency for, like they got caught up on quadruple homicide with video, so on and so forth, there's no way this person's getting out and having their sentence.
Sure, but we don't have to look at pardons. We don't have to look at pardons. We could look at like things like better prison conditions, right? Like you agree there would be in the same way that people try to get the black vote or the Mexican vote or the trad wife vote. there would be you're trying to wine and dine people who are in prison. That's what 2 million people is not a small amount of people. So I agree. You could say my examples are pie in the sky and like hard to see in practicality.
Prison reform. Whatever will I do?
You don't think that's a negative incentive? You don't think it's a negative incentive that prisoners who don't have the best interests of society, who have denied the social contract and broken it, you don't think they're going to vote for? You think they're going to vote for things that are in society's best interest, as opposed to just voting for their own best interest? And you don't think that would cause a lot of like conflict in how that plays out?
We have conflict already in this country from voting. That's
one that actually functions well.
That is, I don't even know how to say.
Like, sure, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking
like that is the point of politics. If you do get what you want and there's no conflict, you live in a dictatorship.
Super selfless, and they're going to vote what they think is in the best of society's interest, even though they have done a felony and they're in prison. And not all.
I mean, I'm sure some of them would vote Trump, but I mean, it is what it is.
I just think it's crazy that you can't understand that there would be a voting bloc that would vote against society's best interest by virtue of them having done serious crimes enough to land them in prison, and you don't think that could?
And somehow their best interest is to somehow.
Nah, and you're being paranoid, my G. Stop that.
Do what?
All right, and time.
It's paranoia.
I'm gonna go ahead and stop y'all there. I actually put the extra 5 on because y'all were cooking and I was enjoying it. I do have a couple of questions from the judges though, so we're gonna go through these real quick, and there may be some that get added based on your answers, but I'm gonna go through these as best as I can. The questions were somewhat fever dreamy, and so I'm gonna try to make sure I understood the meat of the question. And I'm gonna put 1 minute on the clock. Do not feel necessary to answer the whole or use the whole minute. It's just don't go past that minute so we can kind of keep it reasonable. I'm gonna ask you each of these questions. So, Lethe first. It was stated that Maine and Vermont allow current inmates to vote. Do you believe that these states or that the other states should change their laws? I think I already know the answer, but I just want to know. Do you believe that they should be allowed to do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Now, I believe that you, Confluence, in your comments sort of said that you were okay with the idea that the states were allowed to make their own decisions, but do you think that they should be allowed to make their own decisions, or do you think that states like Vermont and Maine should be forced to fall in line with the majority?
There's no federal law saying that like people in prison can't vote, and so I think it is a state's issue. And so even though I think they should change their laws because I think their laws are bad, I don't advocate for
this is true.
Thing to go into the states and tell them what
not
to do.
because of the 14th Amendment, though.
Good stuff. Great answers. Second question.
The 10th Amendment is what he probably wanted to say. Right?
We know that voting is not a constitutional right. Okay. Do you personally view it as more of a privilege, a civic duty, or do you view it as something else?
Oh, wow. They put it right there in there. I think it's a civic duty. I think you have your duty to put forward your voice in what you want America to be.
It's a privilege.
Okay. Same question over to you, Confluence. Do you believe, since it is not technically a right given to us by the Constitution or protected by the Constitution, do you believe that it is a civic duty, a privilege, or do you believe it is something else?
The right to vote
for those who
is
can
something
vote,
that you
I think it's a civic duty,
do.
and for everybody else.
If you say it's a civic duty, you are mandatory, describing something that you force people to vote. And that would be antithetical to the idea of the freedom to vote.
Broken that society contract, and you lose a ton of things that we will call rights. And one of those rights or privileges or whatever verbiage we want to use would be the ability.
They're very different from each other.
Of being disenfranchised.
Okay, cool. Good answers. Now, what do we do? Okay, I'm not sure that I understand this one. The system we currently have allows for pardons that do restore voting rights. Do you think that that is better or worse than our current situation? Go ahead. Or that allowing people to vote in prison would be better or worse than that?
I just think it would be better.
I'm sorry, was that to me?
I was going to say, yes, it's to you first, Lethe. Let me try and form that question again. Do you believe that it is better for a president to be able to arbitrarily restore your voting rights, or do you believe that that it would be better for us to have just absolute voting privileges?
I think absolute voting privileges would be a better way to go about it.
What did I have up? I just fucking exited something.
Same question to you, Confluence. Do you believe that it is better for the president to be able to do so arbitrarily than for it to just remain uniform?
I think it is better. I think presidential pardons would have to be its own entire debate. But I think that causes less harm because just even though there's no limit on presidential pardons, they just end up being more limited in scope. And so they might apply to 500, 600 people. They're not applying to 2 million people. So I just think the amount of harm done, maybe some president could come along and just pardon like millions of people, and like that would be an issue. But I think just on the scale, if we look at the scale, the system we have now just does less harm, and presumably presidential pardons, they're at least this.
I don't know if I would say the United States justice system does less harm.
On that, but those are my basic thoughts.
Okay. Cheers. And then this is the last one, I promise, and then we're going to kick it over to you guys for your actual closing arguments. Hopefully some of these questions might have even kind of helped to influence those outputs. That said, last question. And I know this is going to be weirdly worded, but I'm going to do my best here to frame it because you sort of already answered part of it. We get that you don't consider, neither of you seem to consider voting to be a right. You consider it to be either a civic duty or a privilege. But I'm curious, as are the judges, what rights would you think are more important or sacred than that of voting? You first, Lethe.
More sacred than that of voting? I mean, freedom of speech, not be able to have the government come and clap you in irons because you say something about them. Seems pretty freaking important in a lot of what this country was founded on.
Okay, I like that. And Confluence, what rights do you personally believe are more sacred or enshrined than that of voting?
Yeah, I think there's a lot. I think anything that we would broadly talk about as like human rights, like the right to like a fair trial and, the right to not face like cruel and unjust punishment. I would say those are things.
Those are not natural or unalienable, right?
Get into some human rights issues. And so, yeah, I could rate all the rights, and I would agree the freedom of speech is probably, a more fundamental right than the right to vote. But I ultimately think that, yes, prisoners get the rights that they should get, which is the things I've mentioned, among other things. And I think those would trump the right to vote. I think most people would agree with that.
Okay. All right. Very cool. All right. So we're going to go ahead and put 3 minutes on the clock. I'm going to put the new vote for everybody out there in the audience here in just a second. I'm going to drop it into the chat as well, in the Discord chat as well, so everybody can share it to their personal streams. Okay. But 3 minutes is on the clock for you first, Lethe. Bring it home for us. Prison inmates should still be allowed to vote. Are you ready?
Yes, indeed.
All right. Kick it home.
So where I started the party before. If the penalty for a crime is a fine, then that law only exists for the lower class. People like Jeff Epstein were able to walk out of their cell whenever they felt like it, walk back into their cell whenever they felt like it. They got virtually no rights or privileges removed from them. So if you have money and you're doing well, you probably are going to get a better shake than the average person that's in jail, who is being targeted usually by a system that wants them in jail to disenfranchise them. This person that I'm dealing with today would have been fine with the slaves not being able to vote because, that's the law. That's what we're doing. Why should they have a vote? I mean, at least they're 3/5 of a vote for each. I don't need this kind of thinking. Just because it's a law doesn't mean it shouldn't be changed. Doesn't mean we can't have progress in this country. I'll end on that.
Progress for the sake of progress is not good
stuff. I was completely not ready for you there. I'm going to go ahead and give 3 minutes over to you, Mr. Confluence. Confluence, are you ready for your closing?
Should be
All right, go ahead, bring it home.
Done properly.
So I think just first of all, I hope I'm allowed to reply to his closing and my closing.
Holding traditions.
Epstein was not in prison. Epstein was in jail, and I think there's been a lot of confusion on. Just want to point that out. My main points was that the 14th Amendment has explicit carve-outs for people not voting if they've done serious crimes, which I think I repeated ad nauseum. This has been interpreted by SCOTUS to say it is constitutional to disenfranchise felons legally. These are just the facts on the table, and I don't like that he is saying that I would be supporting some like 3/5 rule. I'm not. If my argument stopped and started with the legal stuff, that would be fine, but my argument in fact does not. So I will continue. From a rights point of view, which I repeated, you lose all sorts of constitutional rights in prison and after prison, and I never heard a reason on why those should be changed. For example, the right of free association, the right to bear arms, etc. You also lose what many of us would call rights, like the right to read what book you want, the right to privacy, the right to free movement. So I don't understand why the right to vote would be in a different category of rights, that prisoners continue to have.
Right to read what book you want. What?
It's a civic duty that you have because you're participating in society and playing by society's rules, which I said, and I don't think I heard.
No, it's because whether or not they're a felon, they are still represented within society. That's what we need to protect.
What prison is. So why would you maintain voting rights when you're being temporarily plucked out of society for a set period of time? Again, that is literally what incarceration means.
Yeah, and it means we take away some rights, yeah. But I think I would argue that voting still needs to be protected, because even if someone's in prison, they still are being represented by the state, and they have rights still. They can't be killed by the state unless, I think you should never be able to kill. We don't kill people for like traffic tickets. We still need to protect the rights of felons. You know, someone who commits a robbery doesn't deserve to die. He still needs rights. So just because we take away a few doesn't mean we can't leave some.
To have, and thus most states do not have them. So with all that said, I maintain that prisoners should not be able to vote. It's in line with our constitution. It's in line with our legal system. It's in line with all of the explanations and hypotheticals and logic I've laid out, and it's bad for society.
What?
All right. So both of y'all under the wire. Nicely done. That is it. Absolutely great fucking debate, gentlemen. I enjoyed the hell out of that. I hope everybody else did too. I'm going to give the judges a couple of minutes to kind of compose themselves and clear their thoughts. I've got the vote out in the audience as well as in the Discord chat if you guys want to share it into yours. Get those votes. It's free. It costs you nothing. Just go ahead and click it. Tell us where you stand on this. We actually do think this one might matter because I have no idea where the judges landed on this one. With that said, I went with Chief first last time. This time I'm going to kick it over to DPP. Mr. Patriot, are you ready to go with your judgment, sir?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let's hear it.
Yeah, personally, it sucks because I agree with pretty much everything Lethe says. It's like every argument I would make, I have to give it to Confluence just because the arguments about the actual constitutional state laws about it, the kind of support with those, and kind of I think it almost goes to the like boils down to like a person was convicted, this thing kind of did happen versus like the government might abuse the right to take this away, if that makes sense how I said it. But you know, someone did commit a crime. That crime was proven in court versus this kind of like phantom government overreach that might happen. I give the more value to the person was convicted. Let's take that right away. You know, it's a valid state interest as some people would say. Yeah, that's kind of how I'm thinking.
Okay, giving it to Confluence from the Patriot. Now over to you, Let's Chief. Are you ready with your judgment, good sir?
Yeah, I think Confluence did a great job of making a clear and concise argument about you know, voting being one of many rights that you are losing by choice of breaking the social contract. I don't feel like the argument was engaged with too much other than, you know, Lethe did kind of say that the system was designed to disenfranchise those people. I just wish like the more time would have spent like kind of building up though like that argument and everything else. Similar to the other judge, I do agree like with Lethe's perspective. I think it was argued better on the other side. Whereas Lethe kind of like you know, asserted that the right should never be revoked. It just didn't have much support for that argument. Though I agree it was like a bit silly to say, you know, that argument that will cut all sentences in half, like wasn't necessarily the best place to go. I would have stuck on, you know, especially coming from your side, I would have stuck on the J6 thing a little bit more first before going back to that. But other than that, I'm going to give it to Confluence, and I vote to make all crime legal. And also, there's going to be free snacks in the vending machine by the cafeteria.
Fuck yeah!
Cheers to that. Now, putting the $10 into your into your commissary was the bring home there for me. I love that one, because again, it was cool the way you did that. It wasn't what he was talking about at all, but you did what you could to try to make it like seem silly what he was saying. With that said, Lethe, you know I love you, dude. And kind of like both the judges say, like my vote here doesn't matter, but I gotta say I agree with him. You did your best, but Confluence, you fucking brought it, bro. Like I don't like anything you said, but I gotta give it to you. You said it great. I honestly thought that both of the judges were gonna automatically just fail you for voting for Trump, but or
was
admitting
close.
to
Shouldn't have
that.
said that. That was a misstep.
No, but seriously though, dude, that was absolutely amazing. Even though I disagreed with you, two things. Like I disagree with Let's Chief in that you bringing up the whole like the fact that you have literally a captive audience who is the easiest to bribe. Bro, I'll let you out of prison early if you vote for me. Like fuck
They
me,
have that
and they
now,
don't
though.
even have to do it. They don't even have to do it.
Right.
They just have to say that.
Yeah, but
And
that's
yeah,
literally every promise.
yeah, no, exactly. That's
what
true.
I was
wrong.
saying, honestly.
No,
Yeah,
I
that's
hear you,
also
but
correct.
but I think that like he said, I think that there is no more better
The 14th Amendment is
representative
the correct
of a single issue vote
argument here.
than that particular bribe right there. Also, whenever you were saying the thing about the you can't have weapons, you already have like other rights have been lost. So why would we not be willing to accept this right being lost as well? Which I thought Lethe's response of, and the fact that both of y'all did not acknowledge voting as a right kind of disempowered that, but it was too late and you didn't really like bring it back around to that. And so again, like you just kind of left that hanging there. I just really thought that was a really great debate from both of
I
you.
know now it's not totally the time to debate the debate, but you know when you're talking
No,
about
go ahead, yeah.
hanging clemency over the head and like cutting sentences in half,
Mhm.
you know, an easy counter that would be how like you know the U.S. has some of the harshest prison sentences in
Yes.
you know
God,
the
this website
Oh,
sucked.
first world.
thank you for reminding me. And I also got to give it to you, Confluence, for being able to just bullshit your way through a straight up absolute bullshit fact. The U.S. does, like I was like, I gotta check because I could have sworn we do have the most incarcerated people in the world. Believe it or
I
not.
think they
told
were
him.
off. They were talking
Yeah.
across each other. One was
Yeah,
talking
I
about like
thought-
per
I thought he
capita
meant, like, per
versus-
capita,
Yeah, that was
yeah.
just a
Per capita,
misunderstanding.
yeah.
That
I
could have
even
been my
stated in
bad.
my
I think
opening
I misheard
argument
that.
that I even took a per capita out in my opening argument. You just didn't hear it.
He did, but
Yeah,
you were
no,
able to
that's
get it
my
in
bad.
there.
Do we not have the highest per capita too?
because the way that you handled it was great. Fact check me later and roll on.
I feel like we
You
did.
just fucking steamrolled past it. And I mean, again, in a debate like this, that's what you got to do. And so it worked because again, Lethe wasn't all like, and if he had jumped onto the keyboard to try to fact check you, the rest of what you said would have just sailed past him. So you kind of caught him where he couldn't actually properly debunk that statement. So that was kind of neat the way you did that. So anyway, let's check
cherry
the
on
audience.
top. It was a virtually flawless performance. Just don't make a cringe reference
Can
to
I-
Kamala's race next time.
Can
Yeah,
I?
I did that. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that he made a statement about the idea that if they would just that politicians like presidents would try and favor towards that voting block in order for them to get an easy 20 something million
I hate
votes.
this website.
The issue with that is that in order to lean towards the voting block, you then have to
Okay,
account for the
get
voting
rid of
block
this
that you'd be
massive
losing by
sidebar
doing
thing.
so.
What am I
And
looking
both
at here?
parties within this country are very heavy on their anti-crime, and you must be
Oh.
strong on crime in both the Democratic and Republican Party. So if you were to go and say that I'm going to half the sentences of people who have manslaughter charges in this country,
I'm
be
about to
expected to lose
literally
even more voters than you just
web
gained
clip
by
this.
doing that.
That's very fair. I actually that
Yeah.
is a good
Straight up.
comeback. I actually
That would've
really,
been a good
it's a
argument.
very
Yeah.
smart
All
point.
information
Yeah.
somewhere
A
else.
moment of
So if we're saying
lucidity
it's a
from
captive
Lonzo.
I was about
argument,
to
I don't
say,
see
the
how
drug
putting a
fog
ballot in
clears.
front of someone makes them vote for you.
True. No, but the bribery behind it, I think, is the point.
What bribery though? Just putting a ballot?
The incentivization, I think, the ability to incentivize the vote.
What do they get from the vote? They don't get out of jail. They just get to vote.
Right, but they're being
Right.
promised that, and that hope is a
How are they
damnable
being
drug.
promised that?
More than
Well, I guess-
what my friend is on. You know, that's a hope is way
I
more
guess
about
I'd relate it more to
painkiller
the
than
pardon power,
painkillers.
where like the president and governments, state governments have the right to just, I'll pardon you and get you out of jail right now if you vote for me. Like that's the thing we have now. That's-
Also, you
Real
can't
quick.
pardon. You can't just pardon people. It has to be a federal level crime that they, in order to pardon.
For the
them, you can't just
president.
Yeah,
the
he
states
can't.
can
Yeah,
pardon.
president. Yeah,
Yeah.
president can't pardon state, and state can't pardon federal. So
Yeah, but
So-
states can
uh,
pardon their
yeah.
own thing. So the governor can
exactly.
just buy votes by pardons.
by pardoning vote, yeah, by pardoning
Yeah,
state.
but like dead serious. Like if you had a dude that hypothetically murdered 14 people and their dogs, and you said, "Hey, we're going to get you out of jail," do you think that person has any incentive to believe you?
Do you think the people who vote for you also are going to go, "Yeah, thank you. Please get him out of jail. I'm going to give you a vote."
Like it would be poison to your entire political career, and it just wouldn't happen. So it's a goofy hypothetical.
Yeah, Doomer, I think that was a good point to bring up, though, because you're just like doubly emphasizing that with the pardons, it is like still like a classist system where the rich not only get to get away with their crimes, but they're also by having access to the pardon system, like compared to like the more poor prison population, like it's just re-emphasizing the point, I think.
I want to say, if I can, that I don't know who said the comment about pardoning it only being like federal or like and not state. Because that was that was a very good comment, and I'm glad that didn't get brought up in the debate, because that's a good point. Because like even someone like Derek Chauvin, it's like there's a lot of talk about like, oh, should Trump pardon him on the right for some reason, but it doesn't matter. He would just be moved to a state penitentiary and then serve out like 25 years in jail anyway. It makes no difference. And so that is actually a very good point. Is like most murders and like serious crimes are charged at state level. So it's like it doesn't really, the pardon system only applies to the federal charges, which is a minority of people in prison.
Good job throwing in that which is absurd part, because I was worried that you were going to be like, yeah, we should give him pardon.
No, I'm center right, okay? I'm not that crazy.
He did say he was a reasonable human being, even if he did.
Yeah, still Trump voter, but not that insane.
so real quick, I do want to say, well, that's for the after party, bro. So I do want to say that both times now, the audience has voted against the judges. This time, the sway actually went for the AF. So Lethe, you've got the will of the people, at least, if not the judges. So good on you for that. All right, so we have one more debate scheduled. I'm going to give a little bit of a preamble to this one, just because this one is a little personal. So their next two debaters, this debate has actually taken place apparently in one of their Discord channels, where it kind of broke down into some name calling and some shit slinging and some finger pointing. And when I found out about that, I said, well, goddamn, I want to hear that shit happen in real time. So that said, the topic was kind of interesting to me, and I hope that you guys find it as interesting to hear them duke it out as me. I've got your vote in the chat there. I believe you guys. Fuck, I'll put it into the group. You've already got this one, Confluence. If you want to drop it in your chat, you've got the opening version. But the next prompt, it's going to be a little bit long-winded, so forgive me for that as well. But I couldn't really tighten it up any. Our prompt this time is, boom, the Trump administration has been more supportive of Ukraine than that of Biden. So one more time, just to be clear, the presidential or administrative support from the Trump administration has been greater in regards to Ukraine than Biden's administration. Now, on the affirmative, saying that Trump has indeed helped Ukraine more than Biden, would be Tyler, aka the average debate enjoyer, the dude directly above my head here. And coming in, oh, look at them guns ready to blaze. Coming in for the negative, saying that Biden was actually more supportive of Ukraine than Trump. That's going to be Circa, the dude who already came in sword fighting on behalf of Mr. Lonzo while he was slain on the battlefield. We have got the timer ready. 3 minutes is on the clock. Tyler, you are muted. I'm not sure if you know that or if you can hear me. You seem to be flexing at the right time, so I think you hear what I'm saying. I'm going to put that into the chat one more time for the...
Can I just say, before we begin, this is in the context of specifically the war, not the broad support for Ukraine on any issue since Ukraine's been invented.
Why does shit always move on me? I hate it.
You started?
You're still muted, Tyler.
Am I still?
Can you hear me, Tyler? Because you can't do your opening while you're muted, sir.
So you're saying it doesn't include Hunter Biden's contribution?
I'm not muted on my end.
He's not muted. Oh man.
Hey now.
Oh man.
Don't throw shots, Judge. All right, everybody, go ahead and get your vote in on this prompt.
You guys hear me? Am I
This is
good?
going to be our last debate of the night, and then
Yeah,
we're
I
going
can
to
hear
open it up to open party afterwards. So, Tyler, are you ready? All right, sir. 3 minutes is on the clock. Go ahead and tell us why the Trump administration has been more supportive of Ukraine than that of Biden.
Okay, so we're going to be talking specifically about the war effort, not
Tyler,
support.
you are still muted. Is it
I
me
can
who
hear him.
muted? Oh, fuck me. I muted you. My bad. Sorry. Time is restarted. Yeah, my
Go.
bad. I think I accidentally muted you. Server muted you when I was trying to suss out who it was that had the background noise. So you can blame Lethe later. Are you ready to go again? All right, cool. Sorry for taking the wind out of your sails. Go.
All right, so we're talking about specifically aid when it comes to the war effort with Russia. So this breaks down on two levels for me. This is first, ideologically, it's a no-brainer. Everyone's known our entire lives that the right wing is the party of war, the party of U.S. hegemony. It's been so since before the Cold War. This is why the neocons came over. They originally were Nixon Democrats that became Republicans because of the Reagan administration's stance on the Cold War. So forming policy and strategy from a right-wing perspective is actually going to be about winning wars, not paying off people to preserve peace. On an ideological level, the right wing is always going to be the side you want on your side if you're trying to win the war. That, to me, tells that they are ideologically the better backers. Now, when you say this, it kind of plays out practically in that, what do we mean there? Well, the Trump administration put a ton of sanctions against Russia. He stopped the pipeline that was going to Russia that would have boosted their economy. He did all sorts of actions with them. He even threatened to bomb Moscow. When the Biden administration was there trying to talk them down from the war, they took down most of these sanctions, only putting a couple of them in place. They did no type of economic attacks against them pre-war. They stopped selling lethal weapons to Ukraine in order to appease Russia, and they were also giving them other appeasement. They were essentially rewarding Russia for their aggression on Ukraine by getting rid of things that Trump had put in place. And that still resulted in a war. Now we're going to go to the practical. The practical to me is what actually happened in terms of policy. The tit for tat we're going to be doing all night. One person did X, one person did Y. Well, there's three major things we're going to hear about. Trump is going to be about the impeachment that happened long before the war started, and that was a couple of months, and everything was fine. Didn't affect Ukraine at all in war. We're going to hear about the J.D. Vance fight that ended up. There were a little bit of Ukrainian issues when Trump cut off aid and cut off intelligence, but generally that didn't help or hurt them that much. Whereas Biden holding out against them, not letting them attack deep into Ukraine, not giving them the weapons that they needed, there was a bunch of efforts that Biden did to hold Ukraine back, to give an off-ramp, to potentially provide Russia with different ways to get out of the conflict while still saving face. At the end of the day, we're talking about Trump was trying to attack the enemies of Russia on the world stage, whereas Biden was placating them. We look at the Iran deal, the rebirth of the JCPOA that Biden campaigned on. Even after the war effort was going, he was still trying to make a deal with Iran, who's a close ally. There was the Obama red line on Syria. He made a red line. They violated it. He didn't do anything. So Russia and its proxies and its allies have been actually aided by the Democrats on the world stage, where Trump dropped bunker busters on them after destroying their economy. We'll probably get into why that's a big deal later, but I would say on the world stage, ideologically and through policy, the Trump administration backed everything Biden did and said he wasn't doing enough while coming into office and doing significantly more. All you have are anecdotes.
And nailed it. All right. So that is going to be 2 minutes on the clock. Circa, it is 2 minutes for cross-examination. Poke holes, ask questions, set it up. Are you ready to cross-ex?
Sure.
You are muted, sir.
Sure.
All right. Go ahead.
All right. So a few things. I noticed that you said, I just found it funny that you said impeachment was too long ago and did nothing, even though it was a few months, to essentially weaken Ukraine as it relates to a war Russia invaded them 3 years later, but somehow neocons who aren't represented by Trump in any way, at least I think you would agree, are more relevant. I don't really understand. How's that too far and that one's not?
I think I'd have to reread my whole introduction for you. The neocons were brought up to show that the right wing has always been the party of global hegemony and winning wars
Trump
across the globe.
is supposedly someone who is anti that.
The impeachment, no, he's not. The impeachment.
He's not. He's not anti-neocon?
No, the impeachment. I'm trying to answer your question. Okay. The impeachment that was brought up. The reason why I brought that up as something that's anecdote that we can hand wave away is because it was so far away from the actual war effort that we were talking about initially.
Fighting was going on during 2019.
That it didn't hurt Ukraine at all.
Just because Russia didn't invade yet did not mean fighting was not happening in the Donbass and the eastern regions.
It doesn't mean they had all their funding back a couple of weeks later. There's zero practical proof that it hurt them at all in the war effort or any.
Remind me a time when Biden did actually just stop or threaten to withhold funding like that.
He didn't threaten. He just flat out did it. Yes,
no,
he withheld certain weapons. Yes, absolutely. There's a ton
the Storm Shadow missiles that I knew you were going to bring up is not relevant.
Yes,
to this.
multiple missiles. There's all sorts of weaponry. That's one missile that you brought up. Trump just approved, and the Pentagon just approved the other day, the long-range Patriot missiles going to Ukraine so they can attack deep into Russia. During the entire Biden administration, what Biden said was Ukraine was not even allowed to attack deep into Russia, a policy that they didn't drop until 2 weeks after the election when the Trump transition team pressured them
this
to
was a policy of NATO. Remember, we're a part of NATO.
It was also a policy of Biden. It doesn't matter if it was a policy of the MARG. It was still a policy of Biden.
Yes, it does. We are part of NATO.
Hold on, Circa. Hold on. We're putting on 3 minutes on the clock. Go ahead and work that straight into your opening statement. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, give me a sec.
All right. Go ahead. Whenever you're ready, I'll start.
So mine, I'm going to be doing the side that Joe Biden supported Ukraine more than Donald Trump, right? Support for Ukraine is more than a policy. It's a test of conviction. When comparing presidents, Joe Biden and Donald Trump, the difference is unmistakable in my opinion. Biden's record shows consistent commitment, grounded in law, alliance, and moral clarity. Trump's reflects hesitation and political interference. Under Joe Biden, which I don't want to contribute this directly to him because it is a congressional bill. It was bipartisan in a way. But under Joe Biden, there was $170 billion provided in military, economic, humanitarian, and other support to Ukraine. And I said that's not charity in our little talk earlier. That strategy included advanced systems like HIMARS and Patriot air defense missiles that he was just talking about. It also included older generation Abrams tanks and ATACMS, and the training intelligence to use them effectively. Biden didn't act alone. He rebuilt trust in NATO after Trump left NATO in his first term, which most definitely did not help Ukraine down the line not get invaded. He coordinated sanctions and rallied European allies, which is, I don't know how you thought that he didn't do that or like lifted sanctions. At the 2024 NATO summit, I'm just going to quote him here, where he said that defending Ukraine was defending democracy itself, and he said that freedom, once compromised, seldom stops at that one border, to show his conviction towards him. He also managed risk carefully. Early in the war, Biden limited use of these long-range missiles that we were just talking about to avoid triggering a broad conflict. Russia was very aggressive against this. Obviously we have to pick and choose which things Russia is more threatening about, but this was not like in hindsight, it looks very simple. But what happened is when Russia opened up the Kharkov initiative, they used North Korean soldiers, and the strategic picture changed. That means it was a reckless move by Moscow, and NATO took advantage of that. They saw it as a restraint no longer deterred aggression, and those limits were lifted because of the use of North Korean troops. And you can even use the NATO Secretary General's own words for this if you actually went and looked up NATO's transcripts and stuff. I can bring that for you if you'd like. He says it by name, Kharkov and North Korean troops. Now, compared to Donald Trump, in 2019, his administration withheld congressionally approved military aid for just a few months, like you said. That was meant to strengthen Kyiv's defenses against Russian aggression. And under the GAO, which I'm assuming you're going to say is not correct, that's fine. We have a transcript. It doesn't matter. Confirming that the funds were blocked, though, for policy reasons, not legal ones. The pause in assistance didn't just violate process. It weakened Ukraine's defense posture at a moment when it desperately needed it. And it sent a message to our other allies about confusion of us being reliable, especially leaving NATO. The pause in assistance, or even more telling, is recent actions. Trump again proposed holding up approved foreign aid, including funds of Ukraine, back and forth this entire year. And then, who truly supported Ukraine? Biden didn't just fund a war effort. I think he turned promises into policies and policies into protection. And Trump, by contrast, has just shown interruption, fractured trust, and placed political interest above strategic ability or stability for Ukraine.
And time. All right, I'll let you finish that thought real quick. 2 minutes is on the clock for you. Go ahead and poke holes. Are you ready to go, Tyler? Cross-examination time.
All right, so I got two things. So One was the sanctions that you said Biden did not remove. In 2017, Trump passed the SSAA TSA sanctions, and in 2019, the chemical weapons sanctions. On top of that, he also put the Nord Stream 2 sanctions. All things Biden removed when he was negotiating with Ukraine or with Russia that never went back on. Are you saying that doesn't exist?
I'm unfamiliar.
Okay, well, that happened. So maybe just better debate prep next time. And the second question, Biden withheld $200 million of aid to Ukraine during the negotiations at a time where Ukraine was begging them to send it, saying that Russia was gathering troops on their borders and about to invade, saying this is a critical time for them to get aid, and the Biden administration was withholding it. You said they never withheld this. But
Withheld
when
what
you
again?
talked about Trump with $200 million in aid, in
Of
military
what aid?
it was missiles.
Which missiles?
They were withholding $200 million in aid just
Which
a couple
missiles?
of weeks before the conflict started. I would have to look at my citation to tell you exactly, but again,
Okay,
you
well,
said
they are
this
the
did
long-range
not
missiles
happen, and I'm
that
telling
we
you,
weren't able. They weren't
no,
able
they
to
were
shoot
not
in the-
long-range missiles. They were not long-range missiles, and they were not able to shoot it. The Biden administration's official demands of Ukraine was that they could not shoot it. So,
Okay.
on top of that, are you denying that this $200 million was not
Actually,
withheld?
it was NATO because we're part of NATO.
It doesn't matter if it was NATO or the Mars.
How
It
would
was
that
Biden's
not
admin.
matter?
We control NATO. If we told NATO we don't want to do this, NATO wouldn't have done this. And all of NATO was not on board. That was also
I
part of
don't
our
know
discussion.
how you
It was
think
also
that's
China and
actually a
India
good
that were asking
argument,
for this.
or
It
if that's a
doesn't
good
matter.
thing.
Because we're talking about the Biden administration's policies, and every time I bring up a Biden administration policy, you hand wave it away as, well, other people were doing it too, so we can't
No,
blame
it was a
Biden
serious
for the
risk at the
policy he
time.
chose
It
and
was
enacted.
a serious risk of
bad
nuclear war.
faith hand waving.
It's
It's
not
just
bad faith.
bad faith hand waving away, so you don't have to admit you took an L on this one. Now, going back to my question, after Biden withheld that aid, you said that Biden was on the same team as Ukraine consistently. You even said in your
Correct.
opener that he was not giving things that Ukraine things that they wanted because it would have pissed off Russia. So if he's actively working to make Russia happy, does that mean he's consistently on the side of Ukraine, unimpeachable, like you said?
And open
think you're-
talk has started. Go ahead and just roll
I
on
think
into
you're
it. Answer that
conflating
question
making
across.
Russia happy
Word
with
number.
serious risks of nuclear war, right? If there were no risk,
You-
my friend, wouldn't we have just
I'm saying they're
invaded
one and the
Russia by
same.
now?
I'm not conflating them. I'm using a
Wouldn't we have just
colloquial
invaded
idiom.
Russia if you think that we can just unilaterally fucking do whatever we wanted to?
I'm using a colloquial idiom. Maybe you could answer the question instead of
I did. I
attacking
answered your
language.
question because it was fucking
You
stupid.
You didn't answer it. You dodged it again. You
How?
just made false claims that
You
I
just
refuted
said-
with actual citations. Skipped right over those. I asked you a question. You rephrased my question. Didn't answer it.
SSAT sanctions, correct?
Is it, you said your words was that Biden was on the same page, stalwart backer of Ukraine. Then you said
Yes.
in the same opening that we couldn't help Ukraine in ways that they were asking for because it would have pissed off Russia. So if we're denying Ukraine what they need, what they say
Are
they
you
need for
talking
the war,
about?
are we still a
Are you talking
stalwart
about
backer of
Thorbjorn
them in every
Jagland,
form?
the Secretary General of the Council of Europe? That guy, when they
I'm-
lifted sanctions in
No,
November
I'm
2017?
asking you your stance. I'm not talking about anyone
What
else.
sanctions are you talking about?
This wasn't about the
You said
sanctions. This was about the
SSAT, right?
$200 This was about the $200 million being withheld that I'm asking you about. You're just not engaging at all in question.
Fine, I'll answer your
But
question
we're
first.
not
yeah.
talking about the sanctions right now.
It's fine. We can talk about them later, I guess.
Yes, because I'm asking you a question that you're completely dodging over and over and over again.
Ask me a
I'm just
question.
trying to hold your feet to fire to get a simple yes or no out of you. It's impossible. So
Well,
again, you
quit
said
yapping
the
and
Biden
ask your question.
administration was a start. Maybe if you stop talking over my question over and over, you'd actually hear it, be able to answer it. You said the
Got it.
Biden administration was a stalwart supporter of Ukraine, on their page, had their back. But
That's
then
not
you
a
say in
question.
the very same opening, I'm framing the question. You say in the very same opening that Ukraine was not getting the things that they were asked for because of risk of pissing off Russia.
No.
If they
not
are
just
doing
risk of
things
pissing
at
off Russia.
Russia's demand, does that mean that they are stalwart supporters of Ukraine and backing them in every way? Or are they working to help de-escalate the war? Because de-escalating the war is ignoring Ukraine's
Is managing
desires
risk.
for weapons. It's ignoring their...
Is this a question, or are you just gonna fucking monologue an essay right now?
I've already asked it like 6 times. I'm trying to rephrase it because you keep dodging it.
I mean,
I'm
probably
trying to
'cause you keep
rephrase it in the
rephrasing it
simplest of
every
terms so
2
you can
fucking
actually
seconds. So
answer.
let me answer your question. Do you think every managed risk in a conflict is the same thing as sucking that country's dick?
No, but that's not answering my question.
So is the
You're
threat of
attacking my
nuclear
language.
war a managed risk in appeasing a nuclear power like Russia?
Yes.
Okay, there
So
we
that's
go.
the point
Your
I'm making.
question's
Then
been
that
answered
means
now.
they're not stalwart. You didn't answer my question. You only answered half the criteria of it to clear up the language you didn't like. The question was, if they are stalwart backers and committed to Ukraine, like you said in your opening, that them giving several things to Russia and denying Ukraine those things that they're requesting.
What did they give to Russia?
Is antithetical to that claim, yes or no?
To Russia? What did they give to Russia?
Their demands to not let Ukraine attack deep into their territory, their demands on security guarantees.
They allow drones, they allow things like that.
Demands on NATO.
Those are managed risks. And I just told you, it was NATO's decision to have that, not just
putting a label on them does not get you out of answering the question. You're just putting a label on them and dodging.
Didn't you just say
and I feel
that
like you're
managed
dishonest
risks?
because you can't answer a yes or no question. This is the 6th time I've asked it now. You can't even just say yes or no.
Yes or no to the question.
All right, let's move on because obviously
Biden does not support Ukraine because the risk of using long-range missiles seemed like it would provoke a massive
war. And the
war.
prompt isn't Biden didn't support Ukraine. You said he was on the same page, a stalwart ally of Ukraine. If he's on the same page, then why is he telling them no to their requests, no to their military actions, no to their desires and what they want to do in the war, and
the
instead
only
placing
thing
Russia?
that we said
that
no
would
to
make him not on the same page as Ukraine if he's telling them no, right?
The only thing we said no to was the use of Patriot missiles, and same with every other NATO country, like the Storm Shadow missile and the other fucking variants, of striking into Russian territory because Russia.
I didn't ask that.
That's what you're talking about.
It doesn't matter what we said no on. The fact that we told them no in order to give Russia things that they wanted so they weren't get mad means that we're not on the same page with Ukraine. That's all I'm asking.
If we're treating this like a dentist's office abacus right now, how many times has...
I'm just trying to get you to answer a question honestly. That's it. It's impossible.
I'll just put it on the tally mark of saying Biden did say no once, okay? Got it. So what he says no to doesn't matter. You just said that, your own words. So Trump,
okay, if you have to lie like
how
this
many
in order
times
to get
has
you to
Trump
answer the
suspended
question,
or
that's fine,
said no to Ukraine on behalf of really fucking extremely weird reasons? It doesn't matter.
I don't know, but I didn't make the claim that he was exactly on the same page as him. I'm refuting the claim.
Isn't
you
the
made
prompt
in your
who supports
opener.
more though? If we're gonna do some stupid fucking like abacus in a dentist's office, like Trump's definitely done it more. Don't I just win by default then?
No. I'm not. You made a claim. I am refuting that claim directly. Now you're pretending like you never made the claim without saying,
so the
"Oh,
substance,
the claim I made,
the
my opening
substance
was
you want to
wrong."
refute my claim with, right, is that Biden said no one time about some missiles.
I did not say one time. I gave you multiple examples. What you're doing now is lying to play down my
Really?
accusation.
Multiple examples,
And that you've
okay.
already admitted.
What was
to.
the other
You've already
time
admitted it.
Biden
We're
said
moving
no?
on now.
What was
We're
the
already
other time
moving
Biden
on
said
now.
no?
We're already moving on now. I got your answer. I don't want to focus on your sophistry and bad faith tactic. Now we can go into what the administrations actually did preparing for war. What the Biden administration did was remove sanctions. Would you like to speak about those? Now I can give you the exact sanction.
Sure, give it to me.
SSAA-TSA in 2017, these were sanctions on defense, the intel sector, selected oligarchs, officials in Russia, and a dozen companies. In preparation for that sanctions package, the Biden administration prepared that, delayed it to negotiate with Russia over Ukraine and hostility moving forward. They told Russia they would drop Trump-era sanctions against them for their aggression if they stopped doing the escalated aggression they began doing. They were telling them, your aggression will get you a reward.
Is that saying they're going to do that in exchange for
They did
something?
it. They did it. They also, in the Nord Stream public, yes. Yes,
So
they did. They gave
got something in
Russia.
exchange or what?
Yes, they did. They got something.
What
They got
did they
nothing
get in
in
exchange?
exchange. No. Russia said to fuck off and continue to invade Ukraine. Obviously, they're still there.
What is it called again? The SSAT?
But it's SSAA-TSA in 2017, the sanctions package.
How was that Biden? You
I
mean like when he was
just
vice
told you
president?
that.
Wait,
In
wait, what?
2021, this was passed in 2017. This was a sanctions package. When the Biden administration's turn to prepare this
Isn't
sanctions
that the
package for
fucking NATO
deployment,
EU
they
guy?
delayed it.
Isn't that Yaglin?
I have a citation. Like if you don't get that these facts exist, I can give
No,
you
isn't
my
that
citations
Yaglin?
to
Isn't
read
that
after the
NATO's
debate, but
sanction?
This prep
Isn't
was
that
supposed to be done prior.
Isn't that European Union sanctions in 2017? Correct?
I'm looking for you.
What the?
I have it linked in here. I have it all. I'm looking. I don't see that anything about a European sanction. I'm looking at 2017 sanctions. I have the citation linked in here from the Washington Post, from Kissinger, AIS. foreignpolicy.com, all of that, talking about Biden's war effort.
What were these
All from Biden
sanctions?
administration.
They were EU sanctions, correct? I just sworn they were EU sanctions.
No, the Biden administration dropped sanctions against Russia in negotiation. That's like not a disputable fact.
You said
They
it
were
stems
rewarding
from
them for their
2017,
escalated
correct?
aggression against Ukraine. When Trump was asked about it, he said, "We will bomb Moscow if you go into Ukraine." When they started ramping up under Biden, he gave them free shit and tried to placate them to get them to stop.
Okay, so the sanctions you're talking about were in 2017, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking about Thorbjørn Jagland's sanctions being lifted.
I'm talking about the sanctions that went through the House, the Senate, and the Trump administration that were put on Russia.
So the sanctions you're talking about in 2021. So I just want to get this chronologically because I feel like I don't know about this. So I want you to tell me what exactly were these. What did
Okay,
they
it
list?
was the Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act in 2017. President Donald J. Trump signed it on August 2nd.
So that's Trump sanctions, right? So Biden lifted these.
He was preparing a sanctions package and delayed them, telling Russia that he would fully lift them if they did not go into Ukraine. He took the sanctions away temporarily and said it'll stay like this if we stop doing bad
fucking
things.
Trump took away
Yes.
the sanctions, right?
No.
I'm so confused, man.
I know. And this is
How,
like
how does
chronological
Biden
shit.
take
And
away an act? This is a congressional act, right?
He has to prepare the sanctions packages, and he delayed the sanctions package from them.
Okay. So this 2017 law imposes sanctions on North Korea, Iran, and Russia, right?
Yes.
Now, what does this law do? Do I have to read it? Do you know what it does? Can you tell me?
Yeah, I'm not here. I did not do my research on this specific sanctions law. No, this was just one of my very, very, very many
Isn't
points
this a
showing.
Trump law though? Like, what are we talking about?
Yes, it was a sanctions law against Russia, and all that matters for the context of the debate, before you derail us into this little fucking hole, is that Biden halted them in negotiation, as well as the Nord Stream pipelines he removed as well, allowing them to continue construction on the Nord Stream 2. Something that would have bolstered their economy greatly, since the Nord Stream 1 bolstered their economy by about 30%, their oil output by about 30%. The Nord Stream 2 would have done that as well. We don't know exactly who blew that up, but all intel suggests that Ukraine had to go into Russia and blow up the Nord Stream pipelines because they were so coupled with EU for energy. The EU still can't get off of Russian energy until 2027. Something that Trump is advancing by doing energy production, drill baby drill. We are forcing now significant amounts of energy over to the EU to supplant Russia so that we can put stronger economic sanctions on their oil, something Biden never did.
Have you read this bill?
No, I haven't read the entire definition of the bill now. I just read the news stories that said Biden delayed the sanctions. The entire context of the bill. I read the news story.
I think you should read this. I think you should read this.
Okay, okay. I think you should do the debate you're in.
I mean, I didn't know about this, but you're making it seem like Biden lifted literal sanctions, which you then moved it to say that he delayed it.
I didn't move to say that. I said that initially that he delayed sanctions for Russia and then said he would remove them permanently if they did not go into Ukraine. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and this act also is a review of the sanctions that Obama put on Russia. That's what he signed into law. This act.
Okay, so maybe they
literally was trying to take away.
It doesn't matter. This is a non sequitur. It has nothing to do with the prompt of the debate. Okay, so what? They came from Obama level sanctions that were enhanced. So what?
No, it was an effort to take them away.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, I'm reading it right now. It gave the ability to review a bunch of Obama sanctions for review, congressional review of sanctions imposed.
So take them away and replace them. This was a sanctions bill against a bunch of countries, including North Korea. There was no effort. Under
this is specifically it says sanctions with respect to the Russian Federation. So I don't know why you would bring that up. Doesn't matter.
I told you why. Because those sanctions were still there, and the Biden administration delayed them. You just can't seem to grasp simple facts. You want to play sophist games with everything and weaponize stupidity.
No, I think you should read. I think you should read the act before you try to.
Okay, I think you should have done debate prep before so you knew what you were talking about before you got
We're a little bit lost now.
Anyways, moving on. I know you are. Anyways, moving on. The Trump administration also expelled 60 diplomats, closed consulates, coordinated to force Russia out of the United States footprint in terms of trade, sanctioned them under the Magnitsky Act for child abuse. And on top of that, they were giving lethal aid and boosted training to Ukraine for the first time. They almost doubled the amount of training we were doing, $6.3 billion of additional training and equipment. On top of that, again, Trump threatened to nuke Moscow if they touched Ukraine.
Did you just say that Trump increased the funding?
Yes, I have it from.
Isn't that?
Oh no! That was Biden. You're right. Sorry. You're right. That was Biden. That was the 6.3
if you know how
was Biden.
the executive branch
article.
works, it wasn't Biden either. It was fucking Congress. They're the ones who literally make laws to spend money, man.
Yes, I understand how government technically works. The president's the head of it.
So that's why I'm not telling you that Biden wins.
He approved of it.
That's why I'm not telling you that Biden wins because he signed a bill that gave most aid under his presidency, right? Because that would be fucking stupid.
No, that wouldn't be stupid. That's just
it would be fucking stupid. Congress wrote it in a bipartisan way. It's not Biden's win.
Do you know that the president's role is when he wins the primary, he becomes the leader of the party. That's one of the roles of the president. This is
if not all of the aid, then fine. I'll use your argument. Most, if not all, the aid was done under Biden. Does that mean that he supports them more?
No, it was bipartisan. The Trump administration was on board with it. In fact, the Biden administration tried to delay it by packing down the aid bill with border quotas that had to be removed.
I thought he was the leader who influences.
Yeah, he put out a bill, and his party tried to make his bill happen, which was coupling immigration to funding for Israel, Taiwan, and Ukraine.
Republicans wanted Israeli aid in that. Yes, there's a lot of different things inside of the bill. That's how bills work.
The timeline. I have the timeline right here in my notes.
Timeline of what? All that matters is when the bill is put into place.
It turned out Biden actually made the request for that bill to be drafted months before the Republicans said anything. Biden made that request to couple all these things together. So trying to blame it on the Republicans because Joe Biden.
I'm not blaming it on anyone. That's just how our government works. We do that all the time. That's how you do concessions, though, because when you go to bill, okay, you need to have all of it in there so you can get what you want. Or else you'd have 65,000 votes for 65,000 lines.
I understand how representatives work. This is so
clearly you fucking don't. What are you talking about?
Time. Go ahead and save that for your closings. So I don't see any questions from the judges. I feel like they seem to have heard everything they needed to hear so far in that cross, which was definitely very engaging, gentlemen. I did give you all the extra 5 minutes because it did seem like there were a couple of points that were being pressed that was really interesting, and it was good to see how that went. So that said, we're going to go ahead and roll straight into our closings. 3 minutes is on the clock. Tyler, are you ready for your closing, sir? All right, put a cherry on it for us, bud. Go ahead.
All right, so as we saw here, a lot of this was just rejection of the facts. The opening was filled with multiple things that I disproved that the other debater didn't even know existed. We have the Biden administration placating Russia up until basically the time of the war, putting Ukraine, in Ukraine's own words, in a worse place for the war that actually happened. Something they did not say about the Trump phone call, which was something he tried to play him on the Trump phone call that happened 3 years prior. The Trump impeachment had little to nothing to do with the war in the first place. It's just trying to kind of score points for partisanship, I think. I'm surprised the J.D. Vance fight wasn't brought up because that actually had some practical effect on Ukraine on the battlefield. The Eastern Front was shelling. They had to dial back their shelling and lost a little bit of territory due to that delay. But we didn't even hear that argument out of him. So even if you agree with his side of the debate, you can't tell me that performance wasn't flat out like shockingly bad. I could make his argument better than him, and I just gave you the winning argument right there. So on top of that, the ideological argument wasn't even challenged. We know Republicans are the global hegemony guys, the ones that want to win the wars, the ones that want the United States to be the world's police. On an ideological level, the right-wingers are always going to be better than the left-wingers in terms of global hegemony. If you're a peace person, you're generally left-wing. If you're pro-war in the United States, you're generally right-wing. That's just kind of how it pans out. So at the end of the day, Trump's actions during the war, the only time he went against Ukraine on their war effort was after an argument in the White House that was never once brought up. Otherwise, he has had their backs the entire fucking time, whereas Biden was working to try to make Russia happy. We're trying to avert the war, so we're just going to give you this.